Praveen Mohan, thank you, man, for coming on the show. I appreciate it. It's great to meet you.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
How long have you been in the States?
Now you mean?
Yeah, just on this trip.
25 days, I think.
25 days. That's a good trip, man.
Yeah.
And you were just explaining to us off camera how you almost lost your drone filming some crazy Nazca type lines in California.
Yeah.
What were you shooting over there?
So we have a particular set of ruins called the Blythe Intaglios. This is in a small town called Blythe in California. I'm sure your viewers know about Nazca lines, right? In Peru. Do you know about Nazca lines?
Yes.
Okay. But it's very interesting to me, right, that they made all these lines in the desert. And when I went there, because I've also visited Nazca lines in Peru.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. There's no way to do it maybe now there is, but 10 years ago when I went to Peru, you'll have to get on this plane and they'll take you on top of the Nazca lines. Back then,
fly over top of it.
Yeah. Is it maybe in 2012?
Before drones.
Before drones. 2010, 2012. And then I think I had my drone at that time. This was the very first, I think it's called DJI Hero or something like that.
Yep.
Very old. And then they wouldn't let us take them.
Really?
Yep, at that time in Peru. So you have to go into this plane and it's like a nice little plane which can only take like maybe 10 people.
Yeah.
And they fly on top of the desert and the guide will show you, okay, this is the ancient astronaut who's pointing to the sky. This is the hummingbird.
Yeah.
You've seen
Oh,
the
yeah.
Nazca?
Of course. Okay. What is the conventional theory for how those things were formed? What do they say?
It's actually easy to create the Nazca lines. I'm not saying this is hard to create. It's not the how that's concerning, okay? It's not the how. You can easily create. You can go today to the Nazca Desert, or you can go to Blythe. And some people have done this in California, right? They go to the desert, and you can just scrape off the top level of stones from the soil, and you've created a permanent mark. So you can put your name. So I can put my name like Praveen Mohan in the desert, right? So I can write that.
Yes.
And then when you fly a drone, or if you're flying on top of Blythe, California, you'll see, Praveen Mohan. Okay. So it's not the how that really concerns me. It's because it's easy to create the Nazca lines,
right,
or the Blythe Intaglios, but it's the why.
How long? Do we know how long they've been there?
Well, I mean, there's no way to date them, right? In Blythe, they're saying that it's some are saying it's 400 years old, and some are saying it's even 5,000 years old.
Oh, wow!
Because there's no way to date that. You can't radio date that, right? Anybody, and believe it or not, some people are saying that this is a tourist trap that was created just 25, 50 years ago. To get some visitors come into this a small town called Blythe. They're saying that people did this 100 not in Peru, right? Not in Peru.
Yeah. But what are they selling in this small town that's bringing so much that they're making so much money on? Yeah. It's a great marketing tool.
That's what some people are saying. This is a tourist trap. I'm not buying this, right?
What do you think it is?
I think they're ancient creations. I don't doubt that this is new. I would imagine that they were created thousands of years ago as signals to the gods.
Signals to the gods.
Because from the ground, you can't really see anything.
Right.
I was just in Blythe, right? From the ground, you can't even see the whole thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You would actually have to see it from, like, at least 500 feet above. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, but how did they see? Like, how did they do it if they didn't have like an overhead aerial perspective of what they were doing?
Yeah. Yeah. So they must. I don't know if we used to have aerial signals even 100 years ago. I don't know if you know that, because they would put large arrow marks. Before the invention of GPS and all these electronics, they would literally lay large arrow marks in all over the U.S. for the planes.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. There's still some remnants out there. in the U.S.
And the arrow marks were supposed to be like what? What was the purpose
It's
of it?
just an indication for the pilots, right? If a pilot is traveling from Tampa to Orlando,
Wow.
Yeah,
Like road signs for pilots.
exactly.
That's insane.
So that's the only thing that I can think of. And I think that, I always imagine that there were either humans were using very advanced technology like flying, right? They had flying machines. Mm-hmm. And ancient texts talk about this. Ancient texts talk about flying machines like vimanas all the time. Right, so they would just jump into an airplane essentially, and they would start flying, right? Or they would jump into a spacecraft and they would go into another planet, and this is what ancient texts talk about. So either they did that, or ancient humans did that. I'm saying ancient humans had this kind of technology thousands of years ago. Or they had some type of communication with gods.
What texts specifically talk about that?
Mahabharata talks about it. Ramayana talks about it. Both are the big epics of ancient India.
Okay.
They both talk about flying machines.
This is Sanskrit.
It's in Sanskrit.
Right.
More than 2,000 years old.
Do you know how to read Sanskrit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The text is similar to modern Hindi. It's called Devanagari.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are there images of these lines that you photographed in California online that we can look at?
Yeah, if you just Google Blythe Intaglios.
Blythe Intaglios.
Blythe.
Okay.
Intaglios. It's called Intaglios.
I got it.
Yep. Well, we can't see it though.
Yeah, we don't have it yet. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at that. I've never seen this before.
Mm-hmm. It should. Your immediate thought would be an alien.
I thought Rick and Morty. Wow. That's bizarre, man.
Yeah. Now, from the ground, it looks like it. You won't even see it.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, from the ground, it just looks like nothing.
And we know this has been here for at least how long? Like this has been here.
We don't know anything for sure, but it's saying like at least 400 years old.
At least 400.
It was discovered, and of course, and the funny part is people laugh all the time when we say, well, you can only see it from the sky, so it was done for the gods, right?
Right.
People always think like, oh, that's cute, but that's not true.
Yeah.
Do you know who discovered, quote unquote, who discovered the Blythe Intaglios?
Who?
Guess who would have done it?
Guess who would have discovered it?
Yeah. Guess who would have discovered
Sheep
the Blythe
herders.
Intaglios? Sheep herders? Yeah, that's a good point. Who else? Archaeologists, historians, people exploring the deserts? Who would have discovered the Blythe Intaglios, you think, Danny?
Indians?
No. But who would have done it? No, it was a pilot who was flying.
Yeah, a pilot, right.
Right? Nobody knew about this, right? People are walking everywhere. A pilot, I think in 1930s, he was flying to California, and he was the first one who said, "What the heck is that?"
It's got a little wiener.
Yeah.
It does.
Wow. That's really crazy.
Yeah,
That's really crazy.
There are
man.
details like that are really interesting. For example, you can see that animal. There, but you see underneath there's something else.
A little squiggly.
Yeah, a little
coiled
swirly
serpent?
dude.
Find a.
Oh, a serpent.
There's a better image of that. I guess this one.
That's
that's a different one.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah. So people were here all the time, and it's right next to the city, man. I mean, you can basically go to the Intaglios in like 15 minutes from the city, right? Wow. But nobody knew this existed for hundreds and probably thousands of years. Nobody knew because you can't see it from the ground.
Right.
You're not going to be like, wow, that's a figure. You can't make that out, and that's why only a pilot who was flying, quote unquote, discovered it 100 years ago.
That had to have been such a crazy discovery for the first people that ever got in planes, because now you're basically elevating yourself to a new dimension, and now you can see some shit that's been here probably forever that we've never been aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, the same thing with Nazca lines. The Nazca lines, then it's a desert.
Right.
And I told you about the story. I lost a drone.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And my drone, like it's like low battery going home, and it just went somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm running in the desert, right, trying to find the drone. Within like 10, 15 minutes, the dehydration level, it's like 100 degrees in
Right.
Yeah. And in like 15, 20 minutes, like I thought like I was going to pass out. Okay. So you're saying that the tribal people who lived in Nazca Desert, that's a big desert, man, Nazca Desert, it's a dry desert. You're saying that people who lived in Nazca Desert, like thousands of years ago, had nothing better to do rather than making figures that they can't even see? Would you make an art like nobody can see?
Right.
Would you ever do it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So who are they doing it for, and why did they go through the pain?
They're doing it for the gods.
That's theory.
Yeah, that makes
right?
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Man, I don't think is there anybody on Earth who's explored more ancient sites and ancient temples in various parts of the world as you? And you've been doing this forever too.
Yeah, probably a decade.
How long?
Well, I mean, I was born in the kind of like the temple premises. I used to like kind of live inside the temple, so I have good exposure to that. But yeah, I've documented more than 100 temples, and we do intense work, right? So we just don't do like, okay, let's go on a day trip to a temple. So we take like half a dozen people, and we document all the carvings in a temple. And this takes a long time. We spend sometimes weeks in the temples. And we only focus on ancient structures, meaning that they have to be at least 600 years old. We don't focus on the new ones.
How did you get started in all this?
What really happened was, I like I said, I grew up in like the temple complex, which is very kind of, you don't know what gets into your head. Like you're playing hide and seek in a temple, right? So you're just going and hiding behind like these giant statues, and you're just hiding there for like 10 minutes looking at all these structures, or you're climbing the temple tower and you're like hiding in there, or you're playing, right? You tend to put in a lot of thought into it, right? Why did they create these carvings? Why did people create such structures at all? It doesn't. Even today, it's a mystery, right? Even today, the ancient temples are a mystery. Okay, it's very hard to compare them with a modern temple or a church or a mosque. It's very hard to compare them. Okay, for example, you will find erotic carvings in ancient temples, right? Why is a place of worship carved with those details?
Right.
Right. So you'll find sundials which tell you time accurately. Right. You will find carvings of dancing. You'll find people fighting. You'll find people wrestling. You'll find animal and the animal and the details of animals. I don't know if you were there for the Cosmic Summit presentation. I think it left the day before.
Yeah.
It was packed. When I gave the speech, a lot of people, especially a lot of doctors, came from far away states. Like they came from Massachusetts. Some of them came from California, and the carvings I was showing them, the details are really crazy. Okay. For example, like you'll see elephants, an elephant giving birth to a baby elephant. And there are like 3 other elephants helping the mother push the baby out. Right? I've shown the carvings in the presentation. I can send it to you.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I first saw that carving in a temple, it's literally like the baby elephant is coming out of the mother elephant. And there are other elephants. There's like one elephant literally using its trunk and squeezing the belly like a modern, like that's what humans do, right? Okay, push the baby out, right? So there are 3 elephants helping the mother elephant. And when I first saw that carving, And it's funny because a lot of people didn't know because it just looks like a group of elephants fighting. You find that carving in a remote corner, right, in a temple that nobody cares about. The temples have hundreds of carvings. So people just thought these are elephants fighting. But when I really, I put it on my computer and when we decoded this.
Yo, Steve, have you sold any of those new plasmoid unification thunderstorm generator machines yet?
Yes! That's why we're sponsored by Shopify.
That's right. It doesn't matter how small you are or what you sell. Shopify helps you sell it everywhere.
Of course, they have the internet's best converting checkout, 30% better than other commerce platforms.
And their new AI-powered Shopify Magic makes everything a one-click wonder. As you probably already know, we use Shopify for the podcast website because it's super easy to set up, super customizable. There's millions of themes and plugins you can use. Payment processing made easy. It's so easy a toddler could do it.
Shopify powers literally millions of entrepreneurs of every size in 175 countries.
If you guys don't already have your own e-commerce store,
their award-winning help supports your success in every step of the way. I mean, look at their YouTube channel. They got tons of tutorials. They really care about their customer experience and making sure they get what they want. They walk you through a ton of processes with their tutorials, making sure that you get everything that you need and you're not left in the dark.
So if you guys enjoy the podcast and want to help support it, right now they're offering a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Danny Jones. It's all lowercase. Shopify.com/DANNYJONES to grow your business no matter what stage you're at. Again, that's shopify.com/DANNYJONES for a $1 per month trial period. The link's below. Back to the show.
I thought, wow, that's amazing. You look at the imagination of a sculptor who lived 1,000 years ago, and he thinks that elephants are like humans. The other elephants are helping a mother elephant to deliver the baby. That's a great imagination. I was blown away by that. Mm-hmm. But then, that's not it. When I searched, the elephants actually do that.
Still today.
Yes, the actual elephants do that. When a mother elephant is delivering a baby, the other elephants get together. We have videos on YouTube.
That's insane. I had no idea.
Yeah. And so it's not an imagination. Mm-hmm. The sculptor must have observed how elephants were giving birth. That's like today. You don't be like, for example, like reptiles, like a snake.
Yep.
It's not a social event. It just goes somewhere, it lays eggs or gives birth to babies, right? It's not a social event. But humans, imagine a woman giving birth alone. That almost be like wild, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, but it's not natural, right? Because we're real social animals.
Yes.
Same thing with elephants. You may have never heard of that. I did not know that until I saw the carving, right?
Right.
So ancient builders recorded all these weird, like the stuff that's trending today, right? You'll see something like a dog riding a cow. Right, that'd be trending today on TikTok, right? Oh, the dog is riding, like he's just standing on top of the cow, right? Like almost like a human doing it, riding a horse. But that's carved thousands of years ago. They've observed these animals, and they carved that in the temples. And that's what they did. So what? I guess going back to your question, what got me started onto these temples is that the mystery of why did they create these temples, right? It's not just a place of worship. That doesn't belong in a place of worship. An elephant giving birth, humans giving birth, that's carved in temples too. Yeah, humans delivering babies, that's carved in temples too. Animals. And it's very interesting. Because I'll tell you, and this is when I put this information out there maybe 8 years ago. If you're a child, right? Let's say you're like 6 years old, right? You're like this high, right? Like we're probably 2 feet, whatever. And if you go to a temple, you will only look at this level, right? You'll only see like a 6 foot, like maybe 4. Right, 2 to 3 feet height. All the carvings will be about animals. I don't know, like if you have a child that's like 3 years old or 5 years old, all day he watches either cartoons or Animal Planet. He's very fascinated by that, right? He's just going to love all the animals. And that's how ancient builders created the temples. So if you are, let's say, 6 years old, all you're going to see is animals. That's your Animal Planet.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, when you're young, I feel like when you have new experiences, or when you're in places like temples, of places of worship that older people are used to, and they understand it's built into the culture, and it's sort of just like the norm. Children, they're not hardwired yet. Their structural, cultural hardwiring hasn't solidified itself yet. Everything is so new, and their imaginations are so much run wild, so much more than adults do. So, do you think that maybe had part of it? Maybe like you being so young and you were still developing, your imagination was still running wild, you were still learning about the world, yet you were in these incredible ancient structures with these crazy details carved into them.
Yes. I think this is why I got interested in temples very early, right? And of course, I moved to the U.S. and I thought that's fine, right? I'll just make a lot of money and then live a good life in the U.S. Right?
Yeah.
But I came out of India, but the India didn't come out of me. Right?
Why did you move to the U.S.?
No, I went to college here.
Okay.
So I thought I'd just get a good job. This was back in 2001.
And you were around roughly 20 years old, something like that, you said?
Yeah.
Roughly 20.
Yep.
And then you stayed here in the U.S. for how long?
15.
15 years.
Yep.
What's the biggest difference between U.S. and India?
One thing I still do, right? I still love about the U.S. is that everything is perfectly organized.
Perfectly organized?
Yep. There's like a stop sign. You don't have to do a thing, right? If you see a stop sign, you stop. If it's red, you stop. If it's green, you go. You don't have to look left or right. That's what I love about the U.S.
They
right?
take all the thinking out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So then they put a lot of thought into it. So you don't have to worry about all the little details, right? In India, we still don't have that. Whether you have a stop sign or not, you have to look.
You just have to stay alive.
You're right. So you have to worry about the little things, right? You have to make sure that, you drive carefully, for example, right? So, and of course, you have to pay attention to that all the time. So that gives you less time to think about all the big things. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So they've taken care of all this stuff for you, so you don't have to think while driving to the podcast, right? If you had to be thinking about all that stuff, you probably don't know like what to ask me because you've already wasted that 30 minutes thinking about how to survive, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of U.S. So the beauty of U.S. is it's everything is really well organized. For example, I can have a heart attack, and you trust the government enough to call 911, and they'll be here in 5 minutes, right? Or 10, whatever. Oh, let's hope so. Right?
Yeah.
That's because of the organization. They've organized everything so the ambulance driver was not going to,
It's not that good in India?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. But although the development is like massive, right? So people who are born in India and people who are teenagers in India, they no longer want to come to the U.S.
Really?
Yep. Because the growth is rapid, The growth is like, we've not seen this kind of growth ever.
How big is India compared to the U.S.?
1/3.
A third of the U.S.? Mm-hmm. And you were saying earlier, you said you could have stayed here and got rich or just gone back to India.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I mean, it's easier to get rich here? Make money here?
Yeah.
Well, the culture here is all about money, right? Everyone's focused on money and the economy here. That's probably like the one of the fundamental moral value or common values of an American.
Yeah.
Different in India, you're saying?
Yeah. The thing is, it is easy to get rich in India too. now, but not 15 years ago, right? But in the U.S., it's a very capitalistic country. You know, you believe in capitalism all the way.
Yes.
Right? So you can make money. It's good. And of course, the lifestyle, right? So for example, what happened when I went to college, right? In 6 months, I had a car. Right, I bought a car. I lived in I had all the stuff because there's no minimum wage in India. So there's going to be a lot of differences, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So the U.S. is really good at surface level. If all you want to do is just make money and have a good life, U.S. is a great country to have, right? It's a good country to live in, right?
So what did you want? What made you go back to India?
That's what I thought I want.
Right.
Right. When I was 20 years old, I'm thinking like, I'm 19, so I'm thinking like, all I need is like good money, you know, like may I have a fancy car, that make me happy. But well, it didn't, right? So what happens after you have like a fancy car? Like, what are you gonna do with it?
Right.
Right. What happens after a year, right? Having that fancy car, like what are you going to do with that nice house? Like you can't do much about it. And then
the dream is almost better than the reality of it.
Right. So once you achieve it really quickly and then you realize that it's kind of like an empty shell. It's like, it's not going to satisfy you. That's not it's kind of cliche, but the money is not going to really make you happy. Right? It's a source of power. There's no doubt. It's like health.
Yes.
You need money.
Yep.
I'm not saying you don't need money. You need money like health. But that itself is not going to give you fulfillment. Right? It's not going to make you content. It's not going to make you sleep peacefully at night. You know.
Yeah, well, money and materialism are two different things, right? Like you could have a lot of money and not be materialistic and want to buy stupid shit.
Yeah.
But so you eventually went back to India.
Yeah.
And what was that because you wanted to explore the temples? You wanted the temples, or what, that was the main reason?
Yeah. At some point, I realized that in 2010. I started to go back to India, and of course, I started to, like I said, I started to make tons of money, 6 figures, at that time.
Was that when you started your YouTube channel, or
no?
Oh, okay.
No, I was working, so I started to make 6 figures income, and then I didn't know what to do with that money. So I would go to Mexico, I'd go to Peru. I'd go to all these different places and initially when we go to Mexico, we're doing stuff like, okay, let's go like bar hopping, right? You're just going like Cancun crawling and that type of stuff. But then I got bored of that. And then I started to look at ancient sites in Mexico. Then I started to look at ancient sites in Peru. At that time, I didn't even, like YouTube, it was not even monetized at that
really?
time. Yep.
Wow,
when I joined,
beginning.
Yep. When I joined YouTube, it was not for money, man.
Yeah.
I was not like I'll just choose YouTube as a career. Yeah. There was nobody who at that time. Nobody on YouTube was monetized when I joined at that time.
Right.
So it's
I remember that very, very vividly.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I remember that time. Yeah. No, I was making videos right when YouTube came out
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah, just little short films and stuff and uploading them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a time, right? When we made stuff just to make the videos. That was the fun part. Right?
Yeah.
Now you're thinking like, oh, if I upload this video, how much money will I make? It kind of took the fun out of it.
No, it really changed, right? Yeah. People think about YouTube, they want to reverse engineer a business out of it. That's the lens people look through YouTube at now.
Yeah.
And another weird thing about it too is like, isn't it funny how when people go to YouTube videos, the two things they care about most are the view count and the comments?
Yeah.
It's not even the video anymore.
What's called the social proof, right? This is how humans function, right? You know about that.
Danny, I love your fancy underwear.
Oh, my MeUndies? Their anti-odor, moisture-wicking, quick, dry, breathable loveliness sponsored this podcast, Steven. Because when that summer heat gets nasty, your man junk stays lovely.
Their ball caddy avoids the bat wing, a.k.a. the ball stick. And their micromodal fabric is breathable and so soft to the face.
I guess you could put them on your face. MeUndies is quite literally the holy grail of undies companies. You can customize your undies whether you want traditional tighty-whitey style, boxer briefs, boxers, and they're customizable, meaning you can get like cosmic planetary undies, mushroom undies, inflatable balloon animal undies, you name it.
MeUndies supports your butt so well. I mean, it looks really good on you, Danny.
What?
They take care of their workers too, and they'll cover the cost if you don't like them.
And summer is running hot right now, folks. So if you guys want to be prepared with MeUndies and help support the podcast, today you can get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Danny Jones. That's MeUndies.com/DANNYJONES for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. The link is below. Now back to the show.
It's called the social proof, right? So, for example, you walk into an elevator, right? And there are like 5 people in the elevator, but they're all facing the other side, showing their backs to you. You will stand the same way. You just turn because you want to be aligned with them.
You want
This is
to
called the social proof, right? This is called the social proof, right? You want to be a part of your society.
Right? Yeah. You want to fit in with society. You don't want to be the outcast.
Yeah. So, and that's what people do when people are not watching your video. People want to first know
if others
are watching that video, and they want to make sure the comments approve.
Right. First, let's read the comments. Let's make sure that my opinion is correct about this video. I want to make sure I have the correct opinion. And 2, I'm not going to watch this video unless millions of other people are watching it because it's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
That's so weird,
And
dude.
that's
so weird.
That's how the society works. And look, I mean, the thing is, it's weird because it's going to make a ton of bad YouTubers, right? Because they know they'll catch a trend and they'd be like, oh, if I support this person, we'll get millions of views. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's just like podcasting, man. I was talking about this all the time. There's people that make podcasts and they literally they create a podcast business plan.
Yep.
Right? They're like, we need to get Jordan Peterson, Graham Hancock, whatever, all these people that are going to blow up our podcast. Then we're going to make this much money. Then we're going to sell this merch, and then we're going to be superstars. Yeah, it's the way people think about these things after like they first come on the scene. You know, like when someone innovates something new, it's usually never the way that it ends up down the road. People end up usually doing it, reverse engineering it and trying to figure out how to get there from a different angle.
Yeah, and people see people like Warren Buffett, right? They've understood the concept of social proof, and they made billions out of this, right? When everybody's like a sheep and everybody's buying, they're selling. When everybody, because they understand, they know that social proof is a bias, and they know how to make the money. And of course, some YouTubers do it the opposite way. Like, okay, if I post this, we can get millions of views, right? You could, people do that.
Yeah. It's hard not to.
Yeah, but people, look, man. I would imagine, right? Trump and Biden, they just had a debate.
Debate, if you could call it that.
I didn't watch it. So there are channels dedicated to like I will support only Trump, and there are channels dedicated to like I will only support Biden, and they both have millions of views, right? They probably make millions of dollars. But I would not be surprised if there's one guy sitting in Russia owning both the channels.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's that famous Bill Hicks joke about the politicians. Like, I think I like the guy on the right. He seems to fit my moral values. And the guy's like, well, I like the guy on the left. He seems to support my worldview better. Oh, wait, what's that? It's the same guy holding both guys, the same puppet master under the table. No, that's true. And that's it's weird too, because when it comes to politics, there's people who have entire personas and YouTube channels that are dedicated to basically talking shit about the person on the other side of the aisle. Yep. And in the same way, vice versa.
Yeah, and I think in the previous election, they found out that some guys in Russia created Facebook pages for and against the same cause.
Yes.
For example, they'd be like, okay, so this church is spreading hate. Let's go and have a protest in front of this church. And then the same guy created another page saying that we have to protect this church. And so there's some people are going to cause a riot, and then we have to protect our church. So it was the same guy doing both the stuff. And I'm sure,
sowing chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And AI is going to pick up on this. And there's, you know what's going to happen? AI is, if you want to weaponize AI, that's how it would do it. The enemy of the U.S., let's say it's some country, right? So they're going to create this kind of politics, right? You just have AI do all these pages and all these YouTube channels for and against the same cause, right? That's how I would do it, right? So let's say I want to destroy Tampa. Right. I would be like, okay, guys, I'm against LGBTQ. We're gonna have a protest right here. This is destroying our culture. I would have a page like that and I could easily get thousands of followers for that. And then I would create another page saying that no, LGBTQ rocks, right? We need our rights. And then and I'll say, let's have the protest at the same time.
Right across the street.
And I can easily create a riot. I could do it, actually, right?
Yeah.
And this is how AI is gonna do.
I don't know if you saw it, but this was like maybe a month ago. There was like a brawl in the streets where the LGBT Pride parade clashed with the Free Palestine parade.
Oh.
And they were literally like curb stomping each other. It was like
really?
a full-on war on the
Where?
streets. I think it was in Philly.
Okay.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Can you find that? Israel-Hamas war protests have disrupted pride marches.
Huh?
Like, what?
That's a day ago.
People don't like to think. Like you were talking about with the stop signs and the traffic signals and all that. It's the same thing with media. They just want to be told what to think.
Yeah. If you start to compete with somebody, for example, right? So let's say you start to compete with a podcaster who does videos every day.
Yeah.
Then you no longer worry about the right information. You start about all the news media. It's only about like who gets the news first. They don't care if the news is right or wrong. Right. They have to give it first. But, and people follow that too. And this is a situation because if you're late and if you're just waiting for the right news to come, right? Like if let's say somebody's like serious, right? Somebody's in the hospital. Some news channel is going to say, oh, this guy's dead. And he's going to get all the views, even though he's...
Right. Yeah.
So all the news channels are like, what do we do? It's
purposely deceitful just to get views and clicks and advertising dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a rough world out there. The media landscape is getting more and more treacherous to navigate every day.
Do you know any media in the U.S. that's not considered propaganda?
Any media in the U.S. that's not considered propaganda. This podcast is not propaganda. This is probably the only one. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean...
what about like a news channel, right?
There's a difference between propaganda that's purposely misinforming or just like purposely being biased for a political, religious, monetary reasons, right? Or just people getting stuff wrong, on accident. So,
can you think of any? Because we know. Well, what do you think about CNN?
You mean any like television news media that's not propaganda? No, I think it's all propaganda.
Yeah.
I think it's all propaganda. I think the way of the world is going to be independent journalism, independent people that like what we're doing here, or like there's millions of other examples of great podcasts and people that report on different things. Which is why I love listening to watching your videos, because I have no other choice. There's no one else that's exploring these crazy ancient temples looking at this stuff like you are. Yeah. Typically, you don't really see a lot about some of these ancient Hindu temples in places like in India, Indonesia, China. In your experience, what has been like the most mind-bending temple structure that you visited in your home country?
There are lots. There's one temple called the Kailasa Temple, which is a very famous temple. It's built out of one rock. It's a large temple. It has multiple
Oh, that's the one
floors.
that's carved out of the mountain.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. That is probably one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So explain to people what, like, so there's a giant stone. What is it? Is it granite? Is it like a granite mountain?
Yeah, it's made of igneous rocks. Yep, similar to granite.
And people basically, it's like a negative relief temple. Like people just carved out the negative space out of this temple.
Yes.
And there's something like 200,000 tons of stone that was removed.
Yeah. Originally, when I first, and this is, I think I visited this temple in 2013. I was still in the U.S. at that time. I would go back to India for a month. I was looking at all the temples. I would come back, right? When I first saw this temple, I said, "There's no way that a temple could be built this way. This is just weird, right?" So I started to study the temple more and more. And I realized how crazy it is. It's not humanly possible to build a structure like that. Right? And they should have used advanced technology because it is carved out of a single hill. Like it's just a giant. It's not a real. I wouldn't say it's a mountain.
How do you pronounce the name?
Kailasa.
Can you pull that up, Steve? Oh, there you go. Yeah, that is nuts.
Let's see here.
Yeah. So if you see, the way you carve it, it's not like you have to carve the.
You had it. That was it,
difficult.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to get more images.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah. So you had to carve. You have to scoop out the rocks. Like for example, you see that kind of like they call it the pillar, but it should remind you of an obelisk. Mm-hmm. Right. So you don't carve an obelisk, right? Normally, if I tell you let's make an obelisk, like they have an obelisk in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
You know this? They put rocks they put bricks or rocks from the ground level. They keep going up, right?
Right.
This is the normal construction technique.
Right.
But to create an obelisk like this, you have to carve everything around it. Okay, that's. I wonder why. Anybody ever wondered why they made an obelisk in Washington, D.C.?
I don't know the answer to that. Okay. But why did they make it? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you'll see a lot of ancient Egyptian details in Washington, D.C.
Really?
Yep. Yep, lots.
So all of this basically was,
Yeah.
this was all one rock. And they carved out all of the negative space to create this.
Yes.
There's nothing else like this on the earth, is there? At least
there
this
are.
the size.
Maybe
There are not this size, yes.
Right.
So I think this was the prototype. Mm-hmm. And that created, there are structures like this in India, but I think this was the first one that was created with this kind of negative, like top-down approach. I don't think. Wow. Yep. And then there are temples, smaller temples, modeled after this. Right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There are smaller temples modeled after this.
So conventional archaeologists, when you ask them about this, what is the understanding of how long it took them to build it, when they think it was built or carved out, and what were the tools that they say were used to create this?
If you talk to mainstream historians or archaeologists, they're going to say, the dates vary, but they will say it's about 1,200 to 1,400 years old.
Okay.
And they were carved using chisels, hammers, pickaxes, simple metal tools.
Would that have been possible?
We don't know. I don't think so. Well, you could do it, right? Like, for example, you could make the entire studio with just using simple tools. But the question is, did you?
Yeah, would it be practical?
Yeah.
And how long would it take?
Right. So this is a thing that people fail to question, right? Just because I can, right? Just because you can make this table with simple tools, did you? Mm-hmm. No,
Right.
you probably used all sorts of like cutting power tools, etc. Right? We don't know. The question is it possible to build it with chisels and hammers and maybe millions of people and then like a century? Yeah, it's possible. But how do we know if that's how they did it? You know, that's the question.
How long do they say that it took to build this?
We don't know that for sure. Some people, if there's an official plaque on site, they keep changing that. Because when I made the video, it became, and this is one of the first videos which kind of became viral from my channel at that time. When I posted it, and I think I was the first one who documented this temple. And it was in 2013 or 14. And at that time, it got like 25,000, 30,000 views in like a week or something. It was like big at that time. You remember those times? When if you get like 10,000 views, that's like a miracle.
Oh, yeah.
So at that time, and in my video, I actually show a screenshot. Luckily for me, right? I show a screenshot from Wikipedia that says 400,000 tons of rock were removed, or 800,000 tons of rocks were removed to create the Kailasa Temple. And since then, people have modified that Wikipedia page so many times. Because I got lucky, I guess I posted a screenshot because it says the time and everything from Wikipedia, right? But since then, now they're saying that, oh no, only 200,000 tons were removed. But remember, these are all like
trying to say it was
guesstimations,
easier.
Right?
Right.
So they kind of now they're like, oh, this is a big controversy. So how do we minimize this to prove that it was easy to create with primitive tools?
Right.
Like, rather than really looking at it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure in another country they'd be like, wow, this is amazing. Let's announce it as a world wonder, right? But in India, they're like, oh, let's kind of minimize that. So it seems simpler to create. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So who in India is in charge of declaring when they were made, who made them, and how they were made? Is it similar to Egypt, how like the Department of Antiquities with the Zahi Hawass and all this stuff, they're controlling this narrative that clearly everyone is against? How does that work in India?
Well, we have an archaeological survey of India. This is the Archeological Department of India. And probably there's some head there. And then we have a historical department and all that stuff. They're now looking at it. It's not as bad as Egypt.
Oh, really?
Yep, it's not as bad as Egypt. And we got to give them credit for trying. But but I have to say that it's impossible to date a megalithic structure. Right? It's just impossible. There's no way to date that. So how do we actually date a temple like this? What would you do? Right? If you're an archaeologist, how would you start?
I mean, you'd have to find the any kind of organic material or remains inside it and try to use that.
Yep.
Maybe take carving, like if there were hieroglyphs in there or something like that that depicted any sort of kings or gods, maybe.
Yeah. So what happened was, in a typical temple, right? They would find some organic material. They'd find some like burnt bones or something like that, right? Then they would date that, and they'd be like, this was built 500 years ago,
right?
But we don't know if somebody was cooking something 500 years ago inside the temple.
Same thing with the pyramids, right? Oh, no, look at this crazy big structure. I'm going to put my dead grandma in there.
Yeah. Same. Look, and the paintings, right? So sometimes in India they're like, oh, look, we are able to look at the paintings are made of vegetables in India. They take all like different kind of vegetables, put them together, and create paint, and they paint on the carvings.
Right.
So we can date that organic material. So they look at the paint, the vegetable stuff, and they be like, oh, this is like 600 years old, but I can
paint it after.
Yeah. Like I'll paint my house now.
Right. It's been painted 100,000 times.
Yeah. So it's very hard to find the dates on them, right? And fortunately, like I said before, most of the temples don't have inscriptions that say, I built it This is when I built it.
Right.
This is why I built it. They don't say that. And this is the hard part of this, right? It's like me, right? You don't know anything about me. Mostly, right? Mostly you don't know anything about me, right? And they kind of bring that. Of course, I tried to learn that from them because they never talked about themselves. Instead, they let their work. Like you were looking at the Kailasa Temple, like, wow, the Kailasa Temple is amazing. How you don't think once about the guy who built it, right?
Right.
Because now your attention is all on his creation.
Right. Yeah. So how big is that whole cavity in the side of that mountain, roughly?
No, can't tell you the numbers. But yeah, I've been there a few times.
Wow, look at it with the people there, man.
Yeah, now you can see the size, and you see this is the hard part, right? So you see people on the first floor, and you can see people on the second floor.
Yep.
Of course, in India it'd be like ground floor and first floor, whatever. Now, but remember this, and you can literally walk up, and to the left, if you go to the left, you can see a bridge. This is a bridge that goes to the balcony out in the front, right? You had to plan everything before you even started carving. Anything. Even before you started carving a little bit, you had to plan everything. You can't be like, okay, now we have created this. Now let me put a bridge between these structures. You can't do that, right? Because nothing is added to it.
Right. No, yeah. When you start, you have to have the final plans, just like the final blueprints before you even start.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! I cannot. My brain cannot even fathom. How to even think about going about something like this.
Yeah, and you know what? If you zoom in to the carvings on the right, there are like weird animals on the right. There's like weird animals and stuff like that. Yeah, there. You can see a lot of destruction. You can see a lot of like damage. Those damages were done by kings who came from the Middle East, and they tried to destroy the temple. They'd be like, "Oh, this is like infidel stuff, right?"
Islam.
Yeah,
yeah.
So they try to destroy it. And how do you destroy a temple like this? You can't.
Radical religion, man. Wow.
Yeah. But they can't. Like you can't.
Is there any of it they were able to destroy?
Some temples, some temples were destroyed. But a temple like this, how do you even begin to destroy? You would have to kind of nuke it. You'd have to throw a bomb onto it because it's impossible to destroy. Right? It's made out of one rock. The entire structure is made out of one rock, and you had to build multiple floors. You had to build bridges. You had to build these pillars, and you had to do all this flawless work. Right? And this is the macro stuff, man. But if you go there, and if you go into the second level floors, you can walk inside, and you'll see micro carvings like this. 1 or 2 inch carvings there. So it's not only the size, like the macro, it's also the micro, So they just did insane work on the temple.
And conventionally believe this is, you said, 1,500 years ago, roughly? 1,000?
1,200 to 1,400 years. That'd be the estimate of this. You typically be like, oh, this is a 7th century.
That's insane, man. Even comparing this to some of like the cathedrals, the Renaissance era cathedrals, they're like, those weren't created like this.
Yeah, there's one in Africa. Did you know about this? There's a monolithic church in Africa carved using very similar technique. You didn't know about this?
Really? No, I had no idea. What's it called?
Church Africa, I think. There you go. From the top.
Lalibia?
Lalibela.
Click on images. Oh, wait, is this it? Oh, wow.
It's carved out of a mountain.
So did we have to dig these up? Is that how we found these?
No, I think they've been there.
Oh, they weren't buried?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you see the top view of that, that'll be kind of interesting for you.
Oh, my Lord. Is this the same one? No.
They've renovated this. You can see the
Let's see. We've gone into a
Yeah, we're
hole.
lost now. Okay.
If you see like you probably have to put aerial view.
That one has bricks.
It
Yeah,
does have
that's
bricks
what
in
I'm
it. It
saying.
has sheet metal
This
up
is
there.
reconstruction, right? You can see the reconstruction work.
Oh, right. This is reconstruction, but this is original.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, I'll look for an aerial view.
It's kind of cute. Like you'd love it.
Images.
There you go on the.
Oh, this stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of cute.
Where at in Africa is this?
I think it's in Ethiopia. I think.
Oh, in Ethiopia. Okay.
I think so.
Huh.
I hope to see it someday.
How many structures are like this? How many megalithic buildings and temples are there that exist? Roughly, do you know?
We almost all the ancient structures in India are megalithic, but you're talking about a monolithic.
I mean
Yeah,
monolithic out of one rock.
Probably a dozen or two in India. We have some. This is called in situ architecture. This is what we use in archaeology. It's called in situ, meaning that we did not remove the existing stuff. Nothing was added or
Right.
So it's already there.
Yes.
And this is the structure. I know only about this one in Christianity. I don't know how old this is. Probably like 500 years old, I think, or something like that. But it's very counterintuitive. Like you don't want to. If I had to start a project like even this is simpler, right? The church is simpler than the Kailasa Temple, but I would not be able to do it.
And why would you want to do it?
Yeah, which has no reason to. There's no reason to, right? Why do all the hard stuff, right? Why go through all the pains?
It's so much harder. Seems like a way more difficult way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's below, like it's down, like if there's a flood, you're fucked. And the hole's just going to fill with water and everyone's going to drown. Right?
Yeah. Well, in Kailasa Temple, they have like complex drainage systems.
Oh, really?
Yep. The water's not going to stagnate there.
Below it?
Well, yeah, at the ground level, they've carved the drain, and then they even built like water tanks outside to collect the rainwater.
No way, man.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I don't think they have it. No. There.
Oh, wait, is this guy?
Yeah, this is also carved out of the same thing. It's just.
And what is that? So what type of rock is this thing made of?
It's some type of volcanic rock.
Oh, okay.
I don't think this is granite. I forgot the name of it.
Basalt, maybe?
No.
No? Type in Kailasa.
Maybe volcanic basalt. That's a good point.
Kailasa Temple stone type. Maybe we'll find it.
What type of rock is it? Is
Volcanic basalt. Volcanic basalt. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Which is pretty soft, right? Mm-hmm. But still, that's a lot of damn work for some hammers and some chisels.
Yeah. Am I the first Hindu that you've had?
You might be the first Hindu, yeah.
You didn't know that, huh?
Or no, actually you're not. We had a couple months ago, we had a guy who's practices Hindu. He's actually from Texas though. He's a white Texan.
Wow.
But he's a biblical scholar.
Wow, but he's a Hindu.
He practices. I think he practices Hindu, but he knows he's been studying religion his whole life.
Wow.
Yeah. But other than that, no.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's good.
So you were raised Hindu though.
Yeah, I was born a Hindu. I was raised a Hindu. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. Like we do like strange things, man. We worship cows.
You worship cows, the sacred cow. Mm-hmm. Huh. And Hinduism kind of like branched off of Buddhism, is that right?
No.
No.
Hinduism is older.
Oh, it's older than Buddhism. Oh, maybe it's the reverse. I have it.
Yeah.
Buddhism came from Hinduism.
You could say that. So if you look at Lord Buddha, he got tired of too many rituals in Hinduism, and Buddha says, no, this is too much. We gotta to to have an enlightened life, we want to kind of deviate from that. We want to have a simple lifestyle. And that's how Buddhism started.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's lots of rituals in Hinduism. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots.
What kind of rituals? What kind of rituals did you practice when you were growing up? Was your life like very, very religious? No? You guys didn't have like days and stuff where you'd go to the temples and
I didn't go.
You didn't
yeah,
go.
they
Oh.
did. They still do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they still do. And I did just. Yeah, I never took part
Not a fan
in
of it?
social. No, yeah, I could do it. I just wanted to make sense of it.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to make sense of why they did that. Right? Why would you worship a cow? Right? It sounds kind of at face value. It sounds really. I'm sure you ate my God today for lunch.
No, not today. But last night I did for dinner.
That's what I'm saying, right? So you're eating cows, but I'm worshiping them. Right? But why? How could like humans kind of think of cows as gods? Like what is the relationship? You know,
And what is it?
it's very complex. It's probably wouldn't believe it if I told you.
Try me.
So humans are here because of cows. That's kind of the theory behind it.
Humans are here because of cows.
Without the cows, humans probably wouldn't exist, right? And this is a very odd. I know this doesn't make any sense, right? But I know you love crazy stories, so I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
I went to the northeast part of India, and there are apes in India, okay? Apart from humans, right? Humans are also apes. But do you know what kind of apes are there in India? Do you know if there's like
Baboons.
chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans? They don't exist in India.
Oh, really?
Yep. There's only one kind of ape that lives in India. That's called the gibbon.
Gibbon ape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you
It's
find
kind
that,
of a
Steve?
lesser ape. But it looks. It's very cute. It's a beautiful.
My God.
Oh, it is
animal.
cute. Look, it's adorable. Looks like it'll rip your face off too if it wanted to.
No, they're very friendly. They're kind of very.
Are they really?
Yep. They're very friendly, and they don't look like they're friendly here.
No, they don't.
But they're actually quite friendly, and you can only find them in the northeast part of India. Mm-hmm. And these gibbons, they're apes. They walk. They don't. I've never seen them on all fours. They walk very
They
much
walk
like.
upright.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep, all the time. I've not seen them, but it's been a while.
It looks like a sloth, kind of.
Yeah. You know that one is having a baby there, right?
He's got a baby like hanging on to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know they live very much like a family. They a typical gibbon family if you observe them. And I spent a lot of time with them. Very much like mom, dad, two kids. That's their family.
Really?
Mom, dad, two kids. Yep. And
You don't typically have more than 2 kids?
they don't.
Okay.
And they don't have like large families either. They're like a small nuclear family.
Okay.
And if the mother dies or if the father dies, they'll find a replacement and they'll keep that 4-member
Wow.
family intact. That's the only reason. For example, the male never has like multiple females in the family, which is very common among other
Other primates, yeah.
like a gorilla. I would imagine or a chimp. It's common.
Mm-hmm.
But the gibbons don't do that. The gibbons are very much like the humans in a way.
One wife.
Like almost a modern
Monogamous.
monogamous society. But since I spent a lot of time with them,
Maybe that's why he's frowning.
he's just unhappy. Huh? But since I spent a lot of time with them, I realized how similar they are to humans, right? Because we got the teenager gibbons too, right? We got single moms there too, so stuff like that.
Pull this thing a little bit closer to you.
Yeah. Closer?
Yeah, that's good right there.
Yeah. So what they do, and the gibbons, the teenager gibbons, do something very odd. They wait for there are lots of cows in India, and when the cows poop, right, it's called a cow pie or a cow dung. It's found all over. You'll have mushrooms growing on them. When these cow pies dry, they have mushrooms growing on them. Mm-hmm. And these are magic mushrooms. And these gibbons, especially the teenagers, they've figured out that they can eat those mushrooms and they can expand their...
Really?
Yep.
This is something they do regularly?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They're getting high and they're using the psychedelic mushrooms. And they come down from the
Steven,
tree.
that's a stock image. Just type in like gibbon, the gibbon monkeys psychedelic mushrooms. Gibbon is the type of monkey, not the mushroom.
I don't think you'll find it anywhere.
Huh?
I don't think you'll find this anywhere.
There's nothing.
I have not searched it. I'm only telling you from my personal experience of watching gibbons do that.
Oh, there's a gibbon mushroom I see. It's funny.
Yep. So I guess I think I'm taking you like on a roller coaster here. So I'm thinking that 50,000 years from now, the gibbons or the group of gibbons that are eating the mushrooms, they're going to be on another level than the other apes that are not eating the mushrooms. You understand that?
Yeah.
They're evolving. I think there are some gibbons that have figured this out. And I watch them because they only come down from the tree when they find a dried cow pie with mushrooms on them, and they feed only on the mushrooms, and they go back, and they kind of like, they just gone for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? So they're basically kind of expanding their consciousness.
Do you think the gibbons are already more evolved than other primates? Like, do they seem? I mean, you said they walk on two legs. They walk upright, right? Mm-hmm. So, do you think it's possible they already are more along the evolutionary scale than other primates?
No, but similar to like a gorilla or a chimp.
So this is like the stoned ape hypothesis happening in real time.
Mm-hmm. So the gibbon still does, and look, I mean, is this what we did? Is this how we evolved? Right? Is this like what was the catalyst? Right?
Right.
What was the
that's
catalyst?
the big question, right?
Yeah, that propelled us. Was it the magic mushrooms that grew on the cow pies? Is that is that the relationship between like humans and cows? Look, I mean, think about it, right? You see where I'm getting at? Mm-hmm. How did you follow, how did you create a religion like Hinduism? What would happen if you took a magic mushroom? Would you see the gods?
Yeah, I think so.
So the mushrooms were the origin of Hinduism.
Oh, wow.
And that would have started from the cow. If I'm a gibbon, right? If I'm an ape, I would basically protect the cows. Because without the cows, I can't have the mushrooms.
Do you think that drugs and psychedelics are responsible for some of these ancient myths?
Yeah, certainly some, right? So, look, we still argue, even people like Graham Hancock, they're still arguing that you have to be able to take some psychedelic stuff to expand your consciousness. It just expands the horizons. In some cultures, like in South American cultures, like when you take stuff like ayahuasca,
Yeah.
you're literally talking to the gods.
Yeah.
right?
Seeing the universe.
Yes, and it's not made in a lab. It's made from, natural stuff,
Right.
like mushrooms and plants. Right?
Yeah. No, and it even goes back to that description in the Bhagavad Gita where Indra gives she opens up his eye. What's his name again? The guy that she's showing, that she's having the conversation with. He doesn't want to go to battle and kill his cousins and his uncle. Indra and I forget.
You mean Krishna and Arjuna?
Krishna. That's what I'm talking about. Krishna. Yeah, Krishna and Arjuna. And she shows him the cosmos, and she shows him everything, and he starts having these visions. And it says that she puts something in his eyes so his eyes are no longer mortal.
Yes.
And I was telling you about the meaning in ancient Greek for Christ, for Christos. Chrio is the root word in Greek for applying a drug to your eyes. And that's really telling that she did something to his eyes to make him have those visions.
Yes. Some
So
people
many
strongly
parallels.
argue. Yeah. Look, I mean, some people argue that humans used to be more conscious. Before they got their pineal gland calcified and all these like modern, the stuff that we're eating today, it's
garbage.
Yes, garbage.
Yeah.
So you can't have the same consciousness that they had 100 years ago. And some are saying that, things like these mushrooms and these herbs and ayahuasca is the only way that you can get that kind of consciousness back.
So you think things like psychedelics and mushrooms and ayahuasca, these sort of these psychotropic drugs from nature, were more ubiquitous back then, and it was just used regularly, and that's kind of what was enabling these civilizations to create some of these structures, maybe, and to develop these stories and have these ideas of gods.
That's possible. I always wonder if we believe in evolution, right? If we believe in creation, it's very simple. You don't need all these theories. But if we believe in evolution, and if we say we were just gibbons 200,000 years ago, that's what we're talking about. What made the gibbons turn into like Danny and Praveen 100,000 years later? Was it what they should have been something, right? It must have been definitely their diet would have played a key role in evolution.
Right.
Right? So were they taking...
Yeah, but do you think it was a linear timeline? Do you think it was a timeline of evolution? Do you think they started out as gibbons 200,000 years ago and then were the pinnacle of our species?
No, I don't think so.
What is this, Steve? The Indus script? What was the
Indus Valley script?
Indus Valley script? Was that something that was carved into one of those temples we were looking at earlier?
Kailasa Temple?
Was that in the Kailasa?
Yeah, that's a different script. Indus Valley script cannot be carved into Kailasa, but...
Oh, okay. When was the Indus Valley script carved?
This is in Indus Valley. This is in Pakistan now.
In Pakistan. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is much older. Indus Valley is much, much older. We're talking about at least 4,500 years old. The Indus Valley is a very mysterious finding, man. I don't know many people... we know the temples have always been there, right? So the ancient temples are there and stuff like that. But 100 years ago, right, they just tried to excavate a place, and they thought it was a simple structure. And they found a huge civilization buried underneath. That's called the Indus Valley. There are two sites, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. We have other sites too, like Lothal. But there are two major sites. Harappa is one of them, and the other one is Mohenjo-daro. And both of them are now in Pakistan. But if you see, if you look at the pictures, if you look at the second picture there,
Yeah.
it's like a huge city.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. And this is supposed to be from 4,000 to 5,000 years ago?
Yeah, at least 4,500 years. And some say it's much, much older. The dates vary a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very advanced civilization. You know, the main road in Mohenjo-daro is 35 feet wide. Okay.
35 feet wide
Yeah,
road.
35 feet wide. That's the main road in Mohenjo-daro, right? So the question is, what were they using, right? You don't need that kind of a road just for walking.
Right. Yeah, giant machinery maybe?
You would have needed some. I mean, you don't. If you're a small village, even if you're a big village, you don't need a road. Oh. Mohenjo-daro.
Mohenjo.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Henjo.
No, go back.
Oh, fuck.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. You see that?
Well, look at that aerial view, man.
Yeah. You see that structure and the streets, man. The streets look like a grid system, right? Going from
Down below, Steve. Below that.
north to south or east to west. Very, very advanced.
Right there on the right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's such a fascinating thing. Like, we have all these crazy old cities and structures and monuments and monoliths, but we have no tools. There's no saw blades. There's no toasters in the desert. There's no metal. It's just a giant mystery that we're drawn to.
Yeah. The Indus Valley civilization, you know, the funny part is that this is a big site, right? You can see how complex it is.
Yeah.
They had no historical evidence of that. There's no text. It was not mentioned in any books. It was
Really?
Yep. It was found as an accident. They found it by accident, right? They were not searching for this. Nobody knew this existed, right? So they found it. They thought the you see that big structure over there on the top? It looks like a dome. They thought it was a Buddhist stupa, and they tried to excavate it, and they realized it's a big city.
No,
Right.
so that's where it started. And they kept digging. They found all that.
Yeah, a Buddhist monk took I think it was a British guy, and they said, "Look, here's an old Buddhist stupa." And then they found a flint scraper. Do you know what that is? Like a small little flintstone
Yeah.
to scrape the skin of animals. It's called a flint scraper in archaeology. So he found a flint scraper, and then he said, "Oh, wow, this must be a very ancient site." So he excavated this. And then they don't even know the real name of that place, okay? This is called Mohenjo-daro.
There's no text to corroborate this place.
Not from outside. We found the script inside.
Inside.
But if you had how do we know Rome was really great? Because everybody wrote about this.
Yeah, right.
Everybody wrote about Rome. Others wrote about Rome. We have Greeks talking about Egypt, right? But so when a great civilization like this existed, others should have written about this, but there's no evidence from outside. So people were not searching for the Indus Valley, and they found it by accident, actually. And what was the funny story I was going to... And you know what? And they don't know the name of this place either, right? They don't know the original name of Mohenjo-daro. So you know what Mohenjo-daro means? That's just a name given by the locals.
No, what does it mean?
It means it means the mounds of the dead.
Mounds of the dead, huh? Wow.
Yep. Because
Why did the locals call it that? They thought it was tombs?
No,
Where they find dead bodies in there?
crazy story, man. This is too much of a conspiracy theory.
It's a conspiracy theory. Oh God, now I need it. I need you to inject that into my veins. They didn't find any organic material buried in there with all that
They
stuff?
found skeletons.
They found skeletons.
Yep.
From the same age? From thousands of years?
The dating is very hard because now the Pakistani government has to date it.
Yeah, tell me that conspiracy about the dead. The what'd you call it?
Mound of the
Mound
Dead.
of the Dead.
Yeah. So, I should tell you this, huh?
You should tell me this. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So according to ancient texts, Rama, Lord Rama. This is in a text called Ramayana. Okay, Lord Rama kind of initiates a weapon. This is a almost a nuclear weapon. Okay, and he has initiated this, and then they decide that they want to. They don't want it nuking a city, right? So they put it in a place called Drumatulya, right? And these places, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, are found in those places that's mentioned in ancient texts. Okay, so what did they find in these sites in the Indus Valley civilization? They found very high levels of radiation.
Really?
Yep. They found very high levels of radiation. They also found that the rocks were vitrified. They thought they found glass at first, but the rocks had turned into almost like glass. It's called vitrification of rock.
Right.
Okay, and that only happens when you put it through extremely high temperatures at a very rapid pace. You have to push it to very high temperature in a very quick time span. If you do that, then the rocks will turn into glass. Yep. Okay, it's called vitrification of stone. And they found skeletons in a weird situation or something like that. So some are saying, I think there was one guy who wrote
Here.
Yeah, here in Indus Valley, in Mohenjo-daro specifically.
I've heard of this. I think I saw something about this recently.
Yes. So they're saying that there was an ancient nuclear bomb that went off in Mohenjo-daro.
Type in skeletons after Mohenjo-daro. Wow. Look at that pit of them.
Yeah.
And there's one laying there in the middle just by itself. So the theory is, oh my God, that's fucking crazy.
It looks like a parent with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying, well, I think this book details that these are not burials, right? You're not going to bury 3 people like this.
It was like a massacre.
Happened, yes, this happened instantly, like when a bomb exploded in this.
Type in massacre instead of skeletons. There you go. Okay, there's a set of stairs with the skeletons just laying right on the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so these clearly aren't burials. People that just happened to die here. Mm-hmm. Wow. So something happened that incinerated the face of the earth right here. Mm-hmm. Because they found the vitrified glass.
Yeah, they found, so the guy who wrote the book, he talked about the skeletons and how you can see that these are not buried, right? These are just, you don't bury people on stairs.
Right.
So it happened there, and they found very high levels of radiation mm-hmm. and they found vitrification of stone. And you can also find this evidence in ancient Indian texts. So they're saying that there was an atom bomb that went off thousands of years ago in Mohenjo-daro. And they're saying that explains why we never hear about the Indus Valley civilization, why it was just not there.
Couldn't it have been something else, like a cosmic impact or something, or a solar flare or something that came and just like...
Could be. I'm not saying that this is exactly what happened, but right. I'm saying, is this what it is?
Mm-hmm. Something definitely happened. I mean, it's clear something happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are the chances of them having an atomic bomb?
Yeah.
What, 4,000 years ago?
Yeah, they're talking about 5,000 years ago.
There's no
in
writings.
Mahabharata.
There's no writings about ancient atom bombs.
There is.
There is.
So it's called the Brahmastra. That's the most common weapon that most people in India know about. It's called the Brahmastra.
Brahmastra.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you typically deploy the Brahmastra. It just destroys the entire city. It just completely destroys the whole city. There's and they explain how the devastation looks, right? They talk about how high the temperature goes, how it looked like a sun when the explosion happened, how all the vegetation was completely wiped off and there were no plants or trees growing for the next 12 to 25 years. They talked about how the people were all killed immediately. They talk about how the future generations had diseases. It's very similar.
Oh my God. And then I just remembered that Oppenheimer's quote came from the Bhagavad Gita, right? Destroyer, I am become death.
Yes. He said that.
So he knew about this.
Well, some people say that. Well, we don't. It would be quite a coincidence if Oppenheimer just randomly quoted.
Right.
But Bhagavad Gita is a part of that text, Mahabharata.
Right.
Yep,
right.
Yes.
Out of all the sites that you've explored, have you found anything that is quite as precise as something like these granite vases that are perfectly symmetrical? And that are made out of a stone that hard, whether it be, I don't know if it's an artifact or if it's a stone or a pillar or anything like that, that looks like it was created on a lathe.
Yeah. So in 2016, I went to a temple called Hoysaleswara Temple. This is in India. This temple is approximately 800 years old. It could be much older. And you see the pillars there. These pillars weigh in tons, okay? Easily 10 tons, 20 tons. And the pillars are definitely made using lathe machines. There's no way to create that. If you type in Hoysaleswara Temple pillars, there is no way.
Oh my God.
You can create that pillar.
No way. Yeah.
And if you zoom in, you can see the turn marks, man. You can literally, when you use a lathe, and you have to see these little marks. You can see those circular marks on the face. Okay?
Yeah, if you just punch in really far, you can see it.
You can see the marks. And this only happens if you use a lathe machine. You have to have a rotating mechanism to create these pillars. Okay, there's no way to do it.
No
other way to do it.
No.
Are they all identical
They're
to each other?
No.
They're all different.
Some are identical, but a lot of different varieties are there. Some are going to look like complex gears. They're going to do, and this is the fun part about this. This is probably one of the only few instances where archaeologists agree that yes, we need a lathe machine.
Really?
To create them, yes.
And they also agree that they are, how old?
More than 800 years old.
More than 800 years old, before we had the wheel, right?
Yep. So they agree because they know that. Look, it says lathe.
Do we have the wheel? We had the wheel 800 years ago, right?
Yeah. So now they've got these pillars which weigh in tons, right? And they have these pillars which weigh in tons, but they also have to accept that these are lathe-turned pillars. So now they have a complex system thinking that how is that even possible, right? So how do we explain this using conventional history and archaeology? So they thinking that they had these huge like pottery wheels kind of stuff.
Right.
And they mounted the pillars and they had horses running around.
That's what they think.
Yeah, because how else do we explain this, right? If you open that window saying that, yes, we had machines, that's Pandora's box.
You can't close that box after you open it. So what do you think they could have used to carve that?
Oh, they definitely use machines. They would have used advanced machines. If you go to Hoysales for a pillar, and if you type in planetary gears, Oh, that my video. Okay, one below. Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. You can see that's the type of device they were using. They were using planetary gears. If you Google planetary gears, you can have multiple gears.
Right.
It's like a transmission.
Yep. Without this technology, I mean,
There you go. There's it'll take a small
So
input.
where each one has half the number of teeth that the bigger one has.
this is a very similar technology was used to create the Coral Castle in Florida. Have you been there?
I have not, but I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, I wrote a book about this, man. I wrote a book about Coral Castle.
Did you really?
It's very well received. It's one of the best rated books about Coral Castle. Really?
How long ago did you go there?
Maybe 9 years ago.
What's the book called?
Coral Castle, Everything You Know Is Wrong.
Really? Okay. You brought it up. Now we gotta go down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
But I wanna put a pin in this because I want to come back to this.
Okay.
So Coral Castle is in South Florida, and I'll just give you my rudimentary understanding of Coral Castle. It's giant megalithic coral, right? Coral structures that some guy,
Edward Leeds Scallon
magically used some kind of technology to lift these pillars and stack them on top of each other and create this castle structure. And what is the conventional understanding of how he did this? Does he explain how he did it?
Well, he kept it a secret.
He kept it a secret.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
No, he died.
How long ago did he die?
A long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The important point about this is that he built it just by himself. He took no help.
That's what he says. Could he
I
be
believe
full
him.
of shit?
No, I believe him.
You believe him?
He never allowed anybody to touch anything in the castle. He built it by himself.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
And what is your theory on how he did
You can
this?
build it. You can build it by yourself if you understand a little bit of mechanical engineering and civil engineering. You can build it. It would be hard to do, right? But you can build it. But there is, if you Google Edward Leeds Scallon chains, you'll find pictures of how he used these gear systems. This is called reduction gear. You can lift any heavy weight using reduction gears. You have to just keep putting these gears in, and then you can. Yeah, there you go, and you can see the third picture there. He's literally he used a structure like this to raise the stone blocks.
With chains.
Yeah, with chains.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
There's a video on, we've brought it up before. There's a video of some guy moving like giant granite stones by himself.
Yes.
He's using like balancing. I forget exactly how he's doing it.
Yes. If you understand fulcrum, if you understand balancing, if you understand reduction gears, you can do it. Again, I'm not saying, look, I mean, here's the thing that I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's impossible to create even those pillars in Hoysaliswara temple. But that doesn't mean that's how they created it. You know what I'm saying?
You still don't think that's how they did it?
I don't know.
Yeah, look at this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This isn't the video I was thinking of though, but this is also pretty cool.
It's the guy. It's the same guy.
It's the same guy. Look at that. This giant concrete block just rolls across this thing.
Yeah,
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
He will take this column and stuff it in the ground. In one of the videos, he's got a whole bunch of them.
Look at that, man.
Yeah.
That's how they did it. I think that's how they built the pyramids.
Yeah, if you really understand all the and the funny part is things like Easter Island statues. You know, have you seen the Easter statues walking?
Walking?
If you type in Easter Island statue walking.
Okay.
No. Oh, yes.
Have you watched this?
Yeah.
Yes,
Have
I've
you
seen
watched
this.
this?
Yeah, I've watched this.
It's one of the theories that look. I mean, it's not that hard to move.
Right. No, yeah, you can figure it out, man. It's physics.
Yeah, it's not hard to move a 5-ton statue. This is one of the things. But now, look. I mean, here's the thing, right? Just because you can move a statue like this, we don't know if this is the technique they used.
Right.
It's one thing to argue that that's possible, right? And it's a classic case, right? So it's a classic case that I ran over this guy by accident. You could run over this guy, right? Using a car, you could hit him with a car by accident, but we want to make sure that that's what really happened.
Right.
Right? We don't know that. It's just one of the techniques.
Yes. Right.
We have to keep that in mind, right? So, because we can jump to conclusions really easily, right? So when I put a theory saying that, we can build there was a complex machine, like high-tech CNC computerized machine, that's an opinion. Right? Was it built with horses and elephants and they were just running around creating these lathe pillars? That's also an opinion. I think we have to understand that.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't exactly know how they did it unless we find real evidence of that. And to kind of walk on that tightrope is very hard, right? To have an open mind about this, saying that we know something happened there, right? But we don't know. But to me, look, how many pillars are there?
A ton.
Yeah,
Dozens, right?
Yeah, and this is not the. You'll easily find 100 pillars in that temple, and this is not the only temple that has these pillars either. There are lots of temples in that area which are all lathe machined pillars. Lots. We're talking about more than like a few thousand lathe turned pillars.
Yeah.
Okay? So what does it tell you? That means it must have been like mass manufacturing facility.
Right.
Right? It must have been like factories, like megalithic factories where people are just carrying stones, put it in a lathe machine, create a pillar, out the door.
Why don't you think we have any evidence of any lathes, though? Because reason would tell you that there would have to be a lathe somewhere, right?
Maybe. We haven't found it, I think. There are a few theories. One is that, look, when I talked about ancient technology just 10 years ago, right, in 2013, 14, people were just like completely, like, they thought it was nonsense. They wouldn't even consider that there was such a thing called ancient technology in India. They just dismissed it. They're like, this is nonsense. But when I started to put out, like, okay, this is a lathe machined pillar, the other gear that I showed you, again, that is also from my videos, the planetary gears, sundials, which are accurate. When we start to, I can't be the only guy who found all this stuff, right? That must have existed a long time ago. But we're not documenting these things.
Right.
And I think these lathe machines would be there somewhere. And they'd lie. I think I probably found one. Put lathe machine Humpy.
Humpy?
Humpy, yeah.
Humpy?
He's thinking of some other Humpy man.
Humpty Dumpty.
H-A.
Humpy?
No. Hampi.
Hampi.
Okay.
There you go. If you see that.
That thingy?
You can look at the pictures.
This is the ancient
Tell me what you see.
site of Humpy that has been abandoned for at least 500 years.
That's me, by the way.
That's you?
Oh, wow.
Oh, the bottom left. Yeah. Okay, I see you now.
proves that
That
this
is-
rock was machined.
Okay, look at that.
You see that?
Yeah, it's a wheel. It's a wheel with a fitting in the middle of it for a rod or something.
500 years
Something to turn it, right?
at a time when historians
Oh, look at those lines.
there was no such technology. Where
It would be easy to just trace those lines, and if they don't break, then you know it's a lathe.
years ago,
Yeah. And again, if you go back to that entire setup, right, on the left and right, you see those pillars
Yes.
and you see the holes.
Yep.
And if you go to the almost the end of the video, you can not that much. I kind of tried to recreate that on maybe the one which has the no. Go back where you can see that recreated model.
Oh, is it this?
Yeah, I tried to recreate this.
Oh, wow. Look at that, man.
base plate on which
This is a what do you call it? It's a vertical. It's like it's a lathe machine.
So this is okay, this would be how they would have done it.
Yeah.
place it on the vertical tool.
So you just rotate the block underneath, and you
Right.
put a thing on top, and then you can create
Actual rock.
the same thing.
Wow.
Rotated on a
Yeah.
perfect
So we do have some evidence, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
look, I mean, I found the entire setup, right, just lying in the dirt.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
vertical lathe technology.
So this thing would have been like a
It's like an ancient
A
lathe
drill.
setup. Yeah, it's like an ancient kind of lathe setup, right? It's still there. You can still go to Humpy and you
Right.
can still see it. So you when you're asking like where's all the lathe machine? Yeah, there's some remnants of it.
right, because the metal would not have survived that long, right? But
Yeah.
the stone definitely would have, and that's incredible, man.
From the rotating objects placed above.
Yeah, we can see some of this, right? I'm showing you like what happened when I recreated this a
Yeah.
long time ago. But yeah, we do have evidences of these. You know, we do have evidences of these lathe machines as well. It's not like the tools are like magically gone, right? So we still have evidence of the lathe machine itself.
Yeah. No, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. I didn't know that it existed.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that exists like that anywhere else in the world that you're aware of, or is that the only one?
I can't think off the top of my head. Yeah.
What do you make about I don't know if you've heard, there's some theories out there about using chemicals to soften stones and to carve them better. I actually had a guy on here a couple weeks ago, Jeffrey Drum.
Okay.
He has a channel called Landed Chem, and he has a theory on how the ancient pyramids were basically chemical manufacturing plants, and they could have used acids and chemicals, for example, to create some of those granite boxes and the serapeum and stuff, and use these acids to be able to create scoop marks in stones.
Yeah.
What do you make of that idea? Have you ever thought about the
Well,
uses
well,
of chemicals and stuff
It's
like that?
popular theory in India.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think it translates very well to some of the things that you've discovered and some of the things you made videos about.
In India, many people believe that they used herbs to soften stones, and sometimes they used sounds to soften stones. So,
Sounds.
yep. So, one theory is that about this oxalic acid. It's an acid found in all plants. Okay.
How do you say it?
Oxalic.
Oxalic acid.
Oxalic.
Okay.
Oxalic acid. It's found in all plants, and a lot of times we think that granite is very hard, right? These rocks are very hard. These temples, how did they cut these rocks? It's very tough. But you know what breaks these temples? A simple seed, man. A simple seed dropped by a bird, and that seed will completely break a 10-ton stone block.
How so?
It just grows. In temples, I went to a temple called Top Prom. This is a Hindu temple in Cambodia, and if you search that temple, that entire temple is destroyed by plants.
No shit.
They got giant trees growing on top of these rocks, right? These rocks are everywhere.
Oh wow! Look at that, man.
Right?
Yeah, nature's just taking it over.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised. People think that like these rocks are indestructible, right? Only humans try to destroy them, but they can't. But it's a simple, like the plants completely take over, right?
Yeah.
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 So why, right? Because there is a substance called oxalic acid in these plants.
In these trees that are growing, you're saying.
Yep. And
But what is the oxalic acid doing though? Like like the trees are growing and breaking it, but how does the acid?
Yeah. Well, so you can see that the trees can destroy the rocks, right? It's even the simple plants. A very small seed can go through and start to put the roots inside, right? And this is the principle on which some beliefs exist in India, saying that they used herbs from these plants to soften the stones.
Okay.
They take the herbs and they make that into a paste. And when they put the paste on top of the stone becomes very soft.
Interesting.
And that's how they cut a lot of these stones.
Have they tried that?
No.
No.
No, I don't. I mean, I would find that I would think that's pretty hard to do, right? We don't know. Like the thing is, maybe we'll magically discover what herb they're talking about, right? At this point, if they don't tell us the name of the plant, what they're doing, like what's the composition, we can't recreate that. We can't recreate that paste.
Do you see any similar marks in stones in India, like those scoop marks that you see on some of those obelisks in Egypt?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. There's a place called, this is in Sri Lanka, there's a place called Sigiriya in Sri Lanka. It's, if you ever go to Sri Lanka, don't miss that place because it's like it's unexplainable. Sigiriya is an unexplainable. Yeah.
Holy shit!
That's cool, man. What? Okay.
You gotta go here.
Okay, how do you explain this one? Holy smoke! How do you even get up there? You got to get in a helicopter?
No, they have stairs now.
Okay. Or an elevator or something?
You have stairs now, but we don't know how they did it back
Was that your phone, Steve?
Yeah.
Put that bitch on silent.
But yeah, this is the. I mean, I was there in 2017 or 18. I was researching the site and I found scoop marks there. It's
Really?
Yep.
You have a whole video on this place.
I have multiple videos about Sigiriya. And if you put Sigiriya scoop mark, I'm sure probably somebody took a screenshot and posted on their website or something.
From your video.
Yeah. Probably not. That's good.
Type it on YouTube. We'll find this video. I need to see the footage of this.
Well, does it say scoop mark in the video?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Sigiriya scoop mark. Sigiriya scoop bolt. No, second one. Yeah, that one.
There we go.
Yep. And if you see, probably the chapters would say scoop marks. It's got so many mysteries, man. Yeah, there. Yeah,
Wow,
that one. Yeah,
man.
Yeah. You see that scoop mark, man? It's like somebody, like, this is like an ice cream scoop.
Right.
Ice cream scoop.
So wait, so what is the conventional understanding of this place?
Oh, they're saying that there was, there you go.
Look at you.
So they're saying that, there was a king who he was put on exile and he wanted to create a safe fortress.
Oh, it was
then
like
he
a prison
built it.
for him.
Yeah, he built it, so he wanted to protect himself and stuff like that. According to mythology and other Hindus, they say this was created by a demon king, Ravana. You'll find lots. I mean, obviously, the first look itself tells you that this place is insane.
Yeah.
Right? It's on top of a giant rock surrounded by a jungle.
Right.
And you find a lot of evidence of very advanced tech. Like there's a lot of stone cutting technology. It's very good. And even today, if you're walking up, it's very hard to get there. Yeah. Even today, with all the modern stairs, all that stuff, it's very, very sort of really inexplicable stuff there.
I mean, what do they hang from ropes to carve that? This is nuts. Look, little ladders.
So this this big structure, this was just natural.
Well, some of them are saying it's natural, but maybe it was artificially created as like a landing pad or something like that, or like a launching space, or something like that. This whole place is very odd.
How do you think they were able to get up there?
Technology.
Technology.
Flying machines.
What'd you say?
Flying machines.
Flying machines. Oh, you're full on. You're full on buying into it. You think the aliens were running
Where's
around?
the stairs? That's my question. How would you get up
Well,
there?
if there were stairs, like look at our stairs. Our stairs are metal. The metal wouldn't survive thousands of years.
Yeah.
Maybe they had some sort of wooden stairs back then.
Maybe.
Yeah, but is the whole side of this thing look like it was worked, or does the side of it look natural?
It looks like this, just like what you see. There are holes there. They're like little ladders there, like almost like for squirrels. It looks like this.
Okay. So it doesn't. Well,
it looks like this. So I tried to show.
It looks natural.
Yeah, it looks natural. Look, if you're going to build a giant structure made of other stones and bricks on top, right? Might as well build stone stairs from the bottom, right? Why would you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You would build stone stairs because there's stone stairs on top of it, right?
Yeah. And Sigiriya, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a fantastic site in Sri Lanka. I didn't get. We only spent a few weeks in Sri Lanka because Sri Lanka is full of these amazing structures. They combined natural things with artificial things, like beautifully. Like, is this natural or artificial? What do you think?
I don't know. It looks kind of like it was worked by humans.
Yeah, keep playing. It gets confused, but now
that looks like scoop marks.
There you go.
That's definitely scoop marks.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll look at a structure in Sri Lanka and think it's natural, but when you look hard, you start to think that, oh, maybe they worked on it. It's very interesting. The stone marks are very interesting. Because you can see cuts there.
Yep. Look at those scoop marks, man. Wow, it's just like the shit in Egypt.
Yeah.
The same technology is being used here. Definitely.
Yep. But why on the face of a giant rock? Like, why would they do that, right? But what were they doing? I mean, what is your theory, right? Like, they're just hanging from ropes and kind of scooping the.
No, there's no way. There's no way they're doing that. No, absolutely not. It has to be something so. I don't know if advanced is the right word. Maybe advanced too, but it has to be something that was developed on a completely different timeline than we develop things, right? It has to be a completely, maybe not advanced technology, but maybe a completely separate technology. Not something that we're used to involving electricity or combustion.
Yeah.
Is that a giant bird claw or something?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a giant reptilian claw, man.
A reptilian claw.
That's it. How does it look like to you? I mean,
it does look like a lizard's claw. It looks like a Komodo dragon's foot.
Yeah. But the question is, I mean, I agree with you. It has to be a completely different type of technology. But the question is why? right? Why
That's
make
freaky.
why make those scoop marks like on the face of this giant rock? I mean, like what could be the purpose of it, you know?
It is bizarre. What is the obsession with reptilians in India? There's a lot of people worshiping reptiles there, huh?
Yep. We worship gods. Like our gods are snake-like reptilian gods. We worship nagas. We worship nagas, which are basically reptiles. You know, they're we have a lot of ancient texts talking about nagas. Not only in India, by the way, the nagas are also called sarpas. They're called sarpa.
Where does nagas come from?
Basically, a word that denotes reptile, like a snake, like serpentine.
Okay.
Like you understand what I'm saying? Like the it's called a sarpa in India. It's called a seraph in Israel. It's called a serpent. It's all coming from the same word. From in the Bible, it's all coming from the same word.
Right.
They're called, the sarpa, seraph, serpent. It's the same thing. And the naga is basically a shape-shifting reptilian set of gods. And believe it or not, they're considered the origin of human civilization in countries like Cambodia. In Cambodia, according to Cambodian history, this is not even Cambodian mythology. You can literally study this history in the history books of Cambodia. They're saying that their very first queen was Naga.
A serpent woman.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. And humans married with the Nagas.
And this is understood as like a mythical religion to them, or?
Well, I mean, we believe that it's a reptilian species.
They believe it was real.
Yep. I believe it.
Or you believe it was an ancient
I
reptilian
believe
species?
Yep. I believe the Nagas are like an ancient reptilian species that coexisted with humans.
Do we have any evidence that these people existed? Like other than like what is the evidence that we have other than the fact that there's these myths that are written about them and carvings and statues and stuff?
No, I don't think we would have like archaeological evidence of that, if that's what you mean.
I mean, like, no archaeological evidence of anything like that.
I don't think we'll ever. Maybe, but I don't think we'll find like skeletons of Nagas, right? If they found them. Right? If they
How would you be able to tell, right?
Would that be revealed to the public? Like finding a giant skeleton, right? If you went 100 years ago in the U.S., do you know how many newspaper clippings are there that talk about giant skeletons found in the U.S.?
No.
Oh, you don't know?
How many?
Oh my God, thousands.
Really?
Yep. Newspaper clippings of giant skeletons found in the U.S. We got thousands.
And why you're saying that it was hidden?
Yeah. There are books written about this. If you just Google newspaper clippings, you can still find. I've posted a few. We can find thousands. Google used to have. You can just go to images. Probably
go to images.
You've probably find a lot. Yeah, there you go. These are all real newspaper clippings. These are not doctored. These are real newspaper clippings.
And so giant human-like skeletons were found up close to, as recent as 100 years ago? Yeah. When giants roamed, okay.
Yeah, the newspaper clippings are like 100 years old.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you typically look at like newspapers published 100 years ago, they're always publishing, we found giant skeletons when they excavated this mound, right? All over. We're not talking about one state. We're not talking about one newspaper company. We're saying this is found. Yeah, look at that. 1919. 18 feet tall, Austin, Texas. You'll
June
find
14th.
them. You'll find them in Florida. You'll find them in California. You'll find them everywhere. right? But where are they now? Why are they not found?
Right. Yeah. Why do you think it's not talked about now?
What do you think will happen if they do talk about it now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why?
If you're an archaeologist and you do find a giant skeleton, right, 10 feet tall, would you tell this to the world?
Hell yeah, I would.
You wouldn't. You would be out of that archaeology degree and your position in a week. If you do,
If I came out and I made the
they
world
would kick you out.
aware of a 16-foot tall skeleton,
You would become the next Edward Snowden. You'd have to run out. You'd become the next Julian Assange. At least you'd become the next Graham Hancock, right? They would ostracize you, man. If you come out like that, if you find the evidence of a 10-foot tall giant, and if you do tell the public, you are going to be kicked out of your archaeological job and your degree, and you would be called a pseudoscientist and a conspiracy theorist, and you'd be ostracized. That's what's going to happen to you if you do that, right? Look, what do people say? Let's say you did spot a UFO, right? Right? And if you do, let's say you even took a video of this, and if you come out and say, I spotted a UFO, this is the evidence, 50% of the people are going to call you a liar.
right? But 50% are also going to believe. I think probably maybe a little bit more nowadays.
Yes, but that's only because you're a regular guy. But what happens if you're a pilot flying an airplane? You'd be kicked out of your job. But yeah,
You think?
I would think.
Even the pilots that came out and talked about the UFOs, they didn't
They're-
get fired.
Maybe. But see, there are.
They got definitely questioned.
Yeah. Look, I mean, look, there are instances, I forgot the name of that guy, who came out and he talked about giant skeletons. He was an archaeologist. And that guy was called a liar and he was fired. Yeah.
What year was that?
I don't know. I
And
could
when we're
probably
saying
find
giant, that thing's not really giant. That one that we just looked at. But like you're saying that one said there were 16 footers. Like that picture right there, that's nuts.
A lot of these-
No.
That's photoshopped, right?
Not that.
No, this is a real photo. In
This is a real photo.
1761.
Yeah, but that could easily be. I mean, Yao Ming's that tall.
That's gigantism.
Yeah.
If you really want to know about the giant skeletons, you have to search giant mound builders. Oh, and you got to see skeletons here. Oh, sorry.
Giant mound builder. Look at that. That's fake, right?
With
That's
modern
fake.
AI, you can.
No, that was there even before AI.
This is that same photo.
That's
It was like a
that's in the
dwarf.
medical museum, I think.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, no, I've never heard of this. I've definitely never heard of this.
There's an entire book written by Jim Vieira and Hugh Newman. They talk about giant mound builders of America. This Jim Vieira. He's in Boston, Massachusetts. And he talked about the giant mound builders, and he came on a TED Talk, man. And
Really?
that TED Talk was banned.
No way.
Yeah, it was banned. You know this.
Why would they ban it? It seems like it's a fun thing to talk about. I don't understand. I don't understand how the deep state would be offended by giants or reptilians. Well, maybe reptilians, because it's probably reptilians running the whole thing, right?
Well, that'd be a stretch, but I'm saying that, you know.
Damn it. Yeah. The giants thing is weird. What? Like why? Like what?
Look at that. That's really interesting.
What is? What is it?
If you go to Wikipedia, right,
Giant
giant
human
skeletons
so got it,
reported in the
yeah.
U.S. right are a combination of hoaxes, scams,
And fabrications.
and the misidentifications of extinct megafauna. Right, but now if you go and if you say Pittsburgh, giant skeletons newspaper.
More than 10,000. Oh.
Probably deleted even off of YouTube. And if you go to image, yeah, there you go.
Images, okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Relief
parlay, not yet fixed.
Not that one.
That's the wrong one.
Not that one.
Skeletons of giants
Yep.
found.
There you go.
There's one. Pittsburgh.
PA, 2 petrified skeletons, one of a man of giant stature and other of a woman somewhat smaller, were found in a cavern blasted out.
Click on that 2 giant skeletons. That's probably me. Yeah. There you go. Click on that. That result is even deleted from YouTube, man. That's me, by the way. And look at that.
Of giant mound builders who lived centuries ago.
Wow.
And
10,000 years ago?
Look below.
I'm Praveen Mohan.
49 skeletons
Yeah,
found.
and look at the text below. That's a real newspaper clipping that I took from Google newspapers. There used to be Google used to archive all the newspapers. I think it's gone now.
This is not just an
But that's a real newspaper clipping that says 49 skeletons found. And you know who did the excavation? It was done by an archaeologist.
in a newspaper called
Really?
Yep, that's a real newspaper, man. If people say, "Oh, this is a hoax or it's fabricated," they can go because I mentioned the date, I mentioned the newspaper. They can go there.
And you can find this.
Yep.
clearly says one skeleton is nearly
They sure are good at covering stuff up, man.
Well, I mean, this is a theory, right? Unless you want to say, "Oh,
Is this video suppressed on YouTube?
I don't think so. Usually, my videos won't come up unless you search for them. But you can see this is like 49 skeletons.
prevent commotion. Here,
That's a lot.
That's a state archaeologist, right? I show this and I say, "Oh, this is G.S. Fisher."
What is the idea about the giant skeletons? What how do they tie into all this stuff?
Yeah, no,
Where do you think they came from? Like what time do you think they came from? If they're real, which according to these newspapers that they are.
they're just
When do you think they lived?
giants. They're just a subspecies of humans, I think. Well, mentioned in the Bible is Nephilim.
Nephilim, yeah.
And Raphaim and other. You know this? They're
The
like
Nephilim,
multiple.
well, the Nephilim and the Anunnaki, I think they come
and
from
there's also
Sumerian
like
tablets.
Raphaim mentioned in the Bible, I think, and there's other in Hindu texts also. They're mentioned, and they're kind of they're a combination of humans and other species, and they're giant. And it was once believed. You know this, right? This is the funny part. You know who spoke about the giants building the mounds of America? Abraham Lincoln. Google it.
Really? Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln was as big a conspiracy theory as I am, man. There you go. The eyes of that species of extinct giants, whose bones fill the mounds of America, have gazed on Niagara as ours do now. Abraham Lincoln, 1848. Okay?
So Abraham Lincoln believed the giants were real. They were
Yep.
extinct species of subspecies of humans.
Yep. He believed that the giants built the mounds of America, right? No matter what Wikipedia tells you today, unless they want to say Abraham Lincoln was trying to spread fake news,
He was a
right?
conspiracy theorist.
That's a direct quote from Abraham Lincoln, right? The eyes of that species of extinct giants, whose bones fill the mounds of America.
It was common knowledge in the United States in the 1800s that there were burial mounds at numerous sites containing the bones of giant humans. Even Abraham Lincoln mentioned this in one of his speeches given at Niagara Falls.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. Video deleted, huh? That's
Video
nice.
deleted. YouTube said, no. We're not going to be talking about giants today.
YouTube, remember, this is coming out on Danny's podcast. It's not on my channel. So don't delete my channel.
Does YouTube give you a lot of shit? Yeah. You've had multiple channels, haven't you?
I do have multiple channels. I do have a lot of
you had
videos deleted.
You had to start
demonetized.
over,
Not that bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why do you, how bad is it? Is it pretty bad? Do you have to deal with it regularly?
It just demonetizes my
I've never
stuff
had to
on
deal with that
YouTube.
with this topic, with like ancient civilizations and
I don't know why, but you may have to cross. Like when I was under 1 million subscribers, things were okay. But once I reached that like 1 million mark, YouTube started to kind of like, you know.
At 1 million subs, you started getting
Demonetize
problems?
you and stuff?
Yeah, they did demonetize. They removed a few videos. I like to talk about everything, you know, like this. For example, if I made a video about the giant mound builders and Abraham Lincoln, that video could be deleted today.
Deleted?
Yeah, it could be deleted today. It could be like, oh, this is fake news, conspiracy theory.
You've had videos deleted.
If I posted it today, it would be deleted. Like that video. Why was it deleted? Right? He clicked on that video, right?
Right.
And that video is deleted. Why?
Right, but we don't know that YouTube deleted it. I'm saying like have like.
Oh, this video is private.
Oh, it's private.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
It's unavailable.
But yeah, I've had my videos deleted sometimes.
About what was the reason?
One video was I made about COVID that got deleted.
Okay, that's a lot of that shit happened.
Yeah, and then a lot of my videos were demonetized. Like, what was the reason for that? One was about violence. The carvings were too violent. You know,
The carvings. It was about stone carvings.
yeah, there's like a god cutting another demon's head. That was like too violent.
And it was deleted.
No, it was not
Demonetized.
demonetized. And then others were demonetized because of nudity, because the carvings did not
Right.
have.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's silly.
yeah, that's silly. We still do. We still have several carvings, videos that YouTube said no. These statues they don't have clothes.
Right.
You could
Like,
just
what
say
am I gonna
No, yeah, I know.
what am I gonna do? I'm gonna like, what? I'm gonna pixelate.
Right.
just tell them no. It's they have clothes on. Those are grapes on the outside of their clothes.
And it's weird, man, because you can go to the Greek Museum at Athens. None of the gods and none of the statues are wearing clothes, you know, and it's fine, right? And you have lots of like hundreds of videos on YouTube about that. Like, there's no like demonetization problems on them. But I think with Indian temples and Hindu temples, I think it's kind of YouTube is biased. To be honest with you, YouTube thinks like we don't want that.
I think 99% of it is also robots doing it, scanning shit and demonetizing stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's just so much. It's just so much stuff for them to be able to regulate. And then you have people that actually do have to look at it. You know, how much do they really care?
Yeah.
They're probably like remote workers and they don't probably sit at YouTube. They're probably just like, okay, here's my 100 videos I have to review for monetization today. Let's see. Like, do they really care that much? No.
That's happens to me too. We do have people working for us, and they'll bring their own bias.
Oh, really?
Yep, they'll bring their own bias to the table. The people who work for me, people who like. They look at the comments. They get to reply as me.
Oh, really? On YouTube?
Yeah, on
Oh,
YouTube.
shit.
Yeah, so it's kind of So I understand the bias. So a lot of times I think it's not like YouTube. It's just the people who work for YouTube. You know, sometimes they look at it, and if this guy has no exposure to this, he'd be like, "Oh no, we can't allow this stuff."
Right.
On YouTube.
Somebody who isn't aware of it, isn't educated on it, right?
Yeah, somebody who's in a completely different country, or he has no exposure to Hindu religion. He's going to be like, oh no, this is bad, right? We can't allow
What
that.
the fuck? Is that guy is that guy having sex with a donkey?
Yes, he
I think
is.
it's a horse, man.
They really
I think it's
love
a
their
horse.
animals.
That's not the donkey, is it?
I mean, it's small enough to be a donkey. A horse would be way bigger, right?
Maybe, yeah. And look at the woman behind.
She's like in shock. She's
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah, this is in a temple called Khajuraho. In yep. And this temple.
Look at that guy.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, he's sodomizing a donkey. And look at this is some sort of Bacchic orgy.
Yeah. This is like a modern day. This is like India's Caligula, huh?
When were these created?
Ancient times.
Like are we talking like 300, 400 BC?
No. We're probably talking about 800 to 1200 years ago. Yep.
Oh my
Good Lord.
goodness, that's pretty graphic.
Wow, that's
I think that's understandable.
Yeah, Steve. Now you're gonna have to go and censor all this out of the show so we don't get demonetized.
Yeah.
never happened to you, right? Has
Yeah,
it?
it's happened to us a lot.
We've learned to.
No, we recently had to do a podcast with the guy I was telling you about. The guy who was the Greek guy, the guy who's a Greek classicist.
Okay.
And he wrote all about ancient drug use in the classical era, and in like with the Romans and the Greeks using drugs for everything from because they didn't die from old age or heart disease. They died from hand-to-hand combat, plague, and famine, and they needed drugs to get through the day, essentially, and to deal with everything. It was all about drugs. And he was also, he was talking about this stuff, and he was talking about like all the human trafficking that was happening back then, and
all that videos.
all of the orgies.
Gone, huh?
No, it's not gone. It's good. We had to censor the living shit out of it though, because when that was the nature of the episode, was all about this stuff.
Right.
So we had to literally make sure that they had no excuse to demonetize it. So we censored every bad word. We censored the word prostitution. We censored shit, piss, damn, like everything you could classify as bad.
Even the medical descriptions like penis and
Priapus. We censored priapism.
Yeah.
Just so they didn't have an excuse to
how do you
monetize
fix
it.
that, man? There's got to be a way around this. You know?
I don't think there is, man. Unless you got blackmail on
website.
somebody high up at YouTube. I don't think there's a way to get around it, man. It's difficult. It's difficult. You just got to be aware of it. You got to be smart, and because that shit's it's real history, man. The stuff that you're talking about, and the stuff that these other people are talking about, these like showing images of these things that were created hundreds and hundreds of years ago. That's real.
Yeah.
And censoring it's not doing anybody any good. When you're demonetizing these videos, you're stifling their reach.
Right.
They're not being seen by as many people anymore.
Yeah.
And
So, see, our idea is to basically like try to understand what's going on, right? In ancient times, whether we talk about giants or whether we talk about erotica or whether we talk about like mushrooms or anything like that, we're just discussing, trying to understand this. Right. I mean, there should be no censorship. We're not,
Right.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's like a doctor looking at a patient's body. They're just trying to understand what's going on, right? Where it's not, it can be thought of as pornography, right? We're just trying to analyze the situation here.
Right. Their primary concern is their advertisers, right?
Right.
Their primary concern is at least this is what they say, is their advertisers not wanting to spend money on things that aren't brand friendly for them.
Yeah.
But
understandable.
it's also, then you have the Twitter files, right? Where you have evidence of the FBI and the CIA toiling in Twitter's regulation policies and their content moderation people, sending them emails, having meetings weekly. So if that's happening at Twitter, imagine what the hell's happening at YouTube.
And some people, man, I mean, did you see what happened to Alex Jones?
With the lawsuit?
Yeah, he's declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah.
He's getting wiped out of everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, man, it's brutal. And there was what was it? There was a recording of an FBI agent, undercover recording of the FBI agent talking about Alex Jones and basically talking about how they took down Alex Jones.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Oh
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. This person went in like it was like a date. This guy, I guess they were gay, but he went on a date with an FBI agent, and he was recording, or maybe it was just a meeting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting a little too crazy. But they had a secret camera, and he was talking to him, the FBI agent, talking about basically how they handle people. Wow. And he was talking about Alex Jones and how they're basically going to get rid of him with the lawsuit, and they're helping with the case somehow. I forget the exact details, but dude, it's scary, man.
Yeah.
It's scary how much control and how much influence they have in the media, for sure.
Yeah, and we tend to think that YouTube, Facebook, all these platforms, they're kind of at war with each other, with Twitter. But what we see is Alex Jones. I think he was just removed from all the platforms on a particular day. It was just gone.
Yep.
And then, you know this guy, David Icke?
Yeah, I know of him.
Same thing. It's just like one day, there's no David Icke on YouTube. You go to Facebook, he's not there. Go to Twitter, he's not there. He's just like wiped off of the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
it has an effect where, like, when you do it, people just want to know why they did it. So it's instead of letting the guy just keep his social media and talk about the crazy wild shit he talks about, reptiles running the world, like, if you have half of a brain, you can make it some sort of an understanding of what this guy's talking about and if he's crazy or not, right? It's not going to be harmful to you. You should be able to have a rational mind and understand, here's a guy talking about some crazy wacky shit. Have fun with it.
what was it that
Or
wacky
don't.
though?
I mean, I haven't really gone that deep on David Icke.
You didn't go through the. You didn't go into that rabbit hole.
I never went down the reptilian rabbit hole with David Icke. I kind of like.
What about Alex Jones? The rabbit hole of Alex Jones.
I've listened to a lot of what Alex Jones says. He's definitely crazy. He's definitely done a lot of, like, I don't think what he did with, I think what he said about the shooting, the school shooting was wrong.
Okay.
But I think he's been right about a lot of crazy shit, right?
Did you hear about what Carl Tuckerson said
about
about
him?
Alex Jones? He played a video of Alex Jones talking about 9/11.
Yeah, he predicted
Before-
9/11. Yeah.
How is that even possible?
He's a prophet.
So he's not that crazy. You know what?
I think there's a very blurry line between people who are very, very smart and very, very crazy. I think both can exist, right? The guy clearly is he's very intelligent. He knows a lot. He's obsessed and passionate about this stuff.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's crazy. He's still fucking crazy. It doesn't mean he's wrong. Just because he's crazy doesn't mean he's wrong. He's definitely right about a lot of shit. There's been there's a everlasting meme on the internet that's been going for the last 10 years about Alex Jones, about like I think the term, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? It's like 6 months or something. That came from Alex Jones, because there's been so many things that he said that we thought were conspiracies that ended up being true.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do I also think that Alex is also a little bit unhinged? Yeah, I think he's a little bit crazy. I think when you find out some of this stuff too, that kind of drives you crazy too.
What would be your rational explanation as to why Alex Jones could actually say they're going to take some planes and put it on the Twin Towers? How do you think he predicted that?
I think I think he's tapped into the cosmic ether. I don't think so. But the he knows a lot of shit. I think he talks to a lot of smart people. He talks to a lot of people probably in intelligence. He probably did back then. I know that his family's in intelligence. I don't know. I think he just knows a lot more than a lot of people do. And he probably was able to connect some dots.
So if the 9/11 never happened, right? If the Twin Towers are still there, would you watch the same video and think Alex Jones is just nuts?
No one will remember that.
If I played you that video,
Yeah.
right? Would you think he's just nuts? It's just a conspiracy theory? You'd probably think
No,
that.
I wouldn't think he was nuts. I'd probably think the same way I think about it now. I mean,
You just said Alex Jones is crazy, man.
yeah, he's definitely crazy. Everyone's a little bit crazy.
Nuts.
He's self-admittedly crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
So would you be surprised if I told you David Icke predicted the Russian-Ukraine war? He did.
Yeah.
He did, long time ago.
What did he say specifically?
He's basically explaining the whole war, like how Russia and Ukraine are going to go to war and how the West is going to play its hand in it.
Talking about NATO expanding.
He does that. Many years ago, David Icke explains that. So we think these people are just really crazy, but you can also see some elements of truth, which I would have never predicted that. I would have never thought of the Twin Towers like Alex Jones. How could he come up with something like that, right? It's just crazy. And how could David Icke...
How do you think he came up with that?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking that they have inside information. They're able to collect information from the inside of various organizations and governments. right? And that's how they get it, right? They've analyzed the situation. They look at all the evidences and they can put the pieces together, right? It's not that they're crazy. I think it's very easy to dismiss. When
I say I don't mean crazy as a pejorative term.
Right.
I think
look, when we talk about these, a person who's uninitiated looking at this podcast, this episode, he's going to be like, oh, these guys are just nuts. Right. These guys are probably on shrooms or something, right? That's what they're gonna think.
Right.
So, but look, I mean, in my experience, the craziest theories, when I they're not really crazy theories. So I went to an Ancient Aliens filming, right? And I met this guy. This guy is an Emmy Award winner, man. I can't say his name, but this guy's a producer, director, producer, whatever. And this guy had a piece of tape stuck on the camera of his phone, right? And I'm like, why are you covering the camera of your phone? It's like, no, they're spying on us using the camera of my phone. I don't want that. So I thought those are nuts. And this guy is very highly, it's a very intelligent, reputed guy. And I thought this guy is just nuts. This guy's just like, I was actually afraid to be in the same room with him by myself because I'm thinking this guy is crazy. Right. But then, I saw him 1 or 2 years later, I watched a video of Mark Zuckerberg and he had a tape on his phone covering the camera. Right. So it's not that guy was crazy. It was so advanced that I couldn't understand it. Imagine going to a homeless guy, right, and telling him, "Look, I'll make you." If Bill Gates walked up to a homeless guy and tells him, "I'll make you a billionaire," that homeless guy is not going to be able to understand that. The homeless guy will think Bill Gates is just nuts, right? All the theories that, Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, look at that picture of Mark Zuckerberg. You see that little tape?
If I had it. Right? I still don't have it, right? I must be really dumb.
If he's got it, we should probably have it. That guy probably knows what's going on.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So the theories that I've heard about, right? The first time when somebody talked about giants being mound builders. Okay, you know who told me this?
David Icke.
No, I never spoke to him. Although I'd like to. But I went to a mound called Serpent Mound in Ohio.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. And I went there, this is probably in 2014. I was there by myself. I was just, analyzing the Serpent Mound. It was like a Native American guy walks up to me and he starts talking to me. And he tells me, "You know who built these mounds?" I'm like, who? Because I'm thinking that he's going to talk about, how the Native Americans built it and all that stuff. He said, giants. And my immediate reaction is like, this guy's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard, probably 2012, 2013, I'd never heard somebody talk about giants being mound builders before that guy told me. And my first reaction is that this is stupid, this is just a weird giant 10 foot tall boulders building it. Just weird.
Right.
But when I started to eventually Google it and I got a few books about the Serpent Mound and other mounds, that subject will come up all the time. They will at least mention it somewhere, saying that, people once thought that giants built it or something like that. So that keeps coming up again and again and again. So you eventually know that should be some element of truth to it. It can be completely crazy. So when a theory like this comes up, whether it's Alex Jones or David Icke, and all these guys end up in the same situation, They could be just, who knows, right? Eventually, how many times was Joe Rogan called a conspiracy theorist? Many times now.
No,
right?
but the problem is it has a reverse effect. If they're trying to censor the guy, people like Alex Jones and David Icke, it has a reverse effect because when they do it, it just draws more people to them and it gets more people to follow them and get in. It's like just like Trump with this whole election that he just went through. When they tried to, put him on display and have this election with this corrupt DA, and what it did was solidified his base, and it made people that were on the fence who weren't sure about him go to his side because they saw, look, all this link they're going through to take this guy out, and then they supported him. So I think it's the same thing with social media. When they try to censor these people, it's not smart. I don't think it's not. They don't think it through all the way. But
why would you though? Why would you kind of delete David Icke? Like, what could be so crazy about like a reptilian theory? You think that's
what's so? I mean, not even crazy, right? What's dangerous about it?
Yeah.
Why is that considered so dangerous? You have to remove it from the internet.
Yeah. Why would you think? And we tend to think, oh, Google is like in competition with Facebook. Facebook is competing with Elon Musk about Twitter, but they all talk together and they delete David Icke on one single day.
And then here's the thing too, like what if David Icke, I don't know why he was banned from Twitter. I'm assuming like maybe there were some policies when he was on there. He was saying some stuff that was considered
from one day, man.
Like YouTube deletes conspiracy theorist David Icke. Like who knows why they deleted him, right? But now they deleted him, and then people see, oh, he talks about reptiles. YouTube deleted him. Must mean reptiles are running YouTube. There's people like that.
That's a good. I like
this
theory, yeah.
Like a lot of people think that way.
Yeah.
Not saying it's wrong. Maybe reptiles are running YouTube, but it's going to make a lot of people think that. And it's going to bolster those conspiracy theories even more. Is what I'm trying to say.
It would have the reverse effect until a certain point, right? It would have supported Alex Jones until a point, right? But if they can really push hard, Alex Jones is going to be completely bankrupt, maybe ends up in jail, like sometimes you have to run out of the country.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah. What is the the birth rate in India? Are there any issues with birth rate? Because I think the birth rate's declining in the U.S. I know, like in the past, I don't know if you know this or not, but like in the past, since the 50s, I think the sperm count in American men is like 50% of what it was in the 50s. Today is 50% of what it was in the 50s. Do you have any idea, which has declined our birth rate quite a bit? Do you know what is going on in India in regards to this?
The birth rate is declining in India too.
It is, okay.
It's declining all over the world.
So you guys are dealing with the same kind of shit we're doing with...
We have enough population. We don't have to worry about this now. But eventually in 50 years, they start worrying about this. But for now, like I said, it's one of the, thickly populated, but that's... Yeah, India's declining.
Fertility rate, 2.03 births per woman.
Holy crap, look at that.
Go back to 1960, see what it is.
1960.
Almost 6. 6 births per woman, wow.
Yep.
And it was only 3.5 in the U.S. What is it now in the U.S.?
Now it's...
1.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, what a change.
Yeah, that decline is almost in all countries. I'd be very surprised.
It's pretty, yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I was just curious because I know like a lot of that has to do with, birth rate, not really, but the sperm count has to do with like the pesticides and the glyphosates and the pesticides.
The food.
The pesticides are spraying on the food and the microplastics, everything's in plastic. And
again, with other stuff like porn, it's going to, it's going to change the way you think about like having a family, the need for a girlfriend or a wife. You're no longer going to
technology too, right? Like technology and people being able to meet people online and have relationships online, and eventually we're gonna have fuck dolls,
AI fuck dolls,
very soon, right? If it's not already there, I'd be very surprised in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not far off.
Yeah, and it's so easy, right, to have a robot because it's not gonna give you trouble. Right?
It's not going to want to go out and have an
It's not going to
expensive
be
dinner.
nagging. Yeah, it's not going to be nagging, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be calling you 10 times and be like, "Hey, Danny, where are you? Why are you not
Right.
pinging?" So it's very easy. And even without the robots, with online porn, you can your drive is going to be very very low. Right? You no longer, and people have become selfish too, right? They start to think of family as a burden. You know?
And it kind of is.
That's what I said. Because you're going to think of it, right? Because you're going to think of it as a burden.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, especially if you haven't done it yet. You think about like, look,
50 years ago, nobody thought of it that way, right? 100 years ago, they would think of family as like very essential.
yes.
Right?
Right.
Right. Now people are like, oh, it's a burden, you know?
Well, I don't really think of it as a burden, but I mean, like, if you want to compare it to life before you had a family, it's like, it's uncomparable, right? Because I'm sure you have a family, right? Like, you can't imagine what it was like before. You have kids?
No.
No, you don't have kids? I thought you had kids. Before I had kids, I like freedom. I could do whatever I want,
kids?
whenever I want. Yeah, I have 2 kids.
Oh, nice.
And after you have kids, it's like, at least in my case, you forget what life was like before that. Like, life was. I have friends that don't have kids still, and I talk to them, and
They can do whatever they want.
They just,
if they're single, they'll be available.
they sleep as long as they want. They go wherever they want at whatever time of the day they want. They can play video games all night if they want. And not to say it's bad to have all the responsibilities of children, because I don't think it's bad. It's definitely a good thing, but it's just so different. I think it definitely makes you a better version of yourself, I think. Makes you more disciplined. You know, there's a lot of benefits to it. And I don't think depopulation is a good benefit. I don't think that's good. I don't think you know, I mean, there's definitely a case to be made that there's going to be too many humans on the planet in the future,
You think
especially
that? No, I don't think that.
especially if AI is able to make us live longer. If AI is somehow able to figure out medicine and to figure out how to cure diseases in the human genome and make us live hundreds of years, even, you know, if the singularity happens in 2030, 2040, and that extends our lifespan by more than double, there's going to be way too many fucking people on this planet, man. This planet, I don't think, can handle 20 billion people or 1 trillion people. That's going to be a problem.
Okay.
And 1 trillion poor people, because the AI can take away a lot of jobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like overpopulation. Probably will never get there. I would think that, right? I doubt if we'll ever overpopulate the earth. It's going to be the opposite way. I think we're going to have lesser and lesser people from now on.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere that you could take every single human being on the entire earth and you can fit them inside the city boundaries of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Which is insane, right?
Yeah, but that's all there is. I mean, we tend to think, oh, there's too many people. Yeah, we don't have that many people, I think. It's in my opinion. I think from now on, like in the last maybe 50 years and then in the next 50 years, the population decline is going to be drastic.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's going to be drastic. Unless people like Jeff Bezos, you know, Jeff Bezos is working on immortality, right? He's trying to find a way to stop people. Like you won't have. He doesn't want to die.
Yeah, there's a lot of people working on immortality, man. A lot of people. Ray Kurzweil. I just had a guy in here the other day who wrote a whole book on it. And the people that are involved, these billionaires that are involved in these AI companies, they're trying to figure out, they're really doing a lot of work trying to figure out the human genome and the DNA. Yeah. And because they don't know why we age, there's some animals that don't age. There's a whale called the, what's that whale called, Steve?
Something head whale.
It was like a curved head whale or something.
Really?
It doesn't age.
Wow.
A naked mole rat doesn't age.
How does it die then?
From
Disease?
like fighting fighting with other rats or getting suffocated in a dirt hole that it goes into, or But yeah, the average lifespan of them is like 35 years, and I think they only die from like trauma or from like suffocation or from starvation or whatever it is, or from getting run over.
Really?
And then there's also a Greenland shark that doesn't age. I think those things are like there's Greenland sharks that are like over 500 years old or something.
But if that's the case, wouldn't the ocean be full of those sharks? Because they never die, right? They just keep.
Yeah, well,
just
the thing is,
making babies,
there's
right?
not that many of them, and they're not there's not enough of them to reproduce.
Okay. How so?
That's
like,
a good question, though. Why aren't
Yeah.
there more of them? You would think if they don't age.
I mean, that's your theory, right? If you're
There's-
saying that we don't die, we just overpopulate the earth. But if those mole rats don't die, like why are they not like?
That's a good
everywhere?
question. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. But that's the case that he was making, that there's a few animals on Earth that don't die, and that the people that are involved in these AI companies, these billionaires, are trying to study those kind of animals, figure out their genome and their DNA, and figure out how we can reverse engineer it and apply it to ourselves so we don't age anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, people like Jeff Bezos could probably do. If anyone can do it, probably him. Or if Elon Musk is working on it, he could do it.
Yeah.
He's into Neuralink. There was some news about Neuralink that came out. The first guy, you know what Elon Musk is working on?
Yeah. Well, I know Joe Rogan had the guy on his podcast, the first guy to
Elon Musk? No, the Neuralink. Oh, the first guy.
The first guy who got Neuralink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on there recently.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk, he's trying to make people go to Mars, right? He's trying to figure out how to make our species interplanetary.
Yeah.
But we haven't even been to the moon since the 70s. Since 1969.
Yeah. No, the probably Blue Origin will put a man on the moon very soon, I think.
You think?
Jeff Bezos, yep. Jeff Bezos is going to put the next man on the moon. If it's not done by any other government, the countries can do it, but if it's not the country, it's going to be Jeff Bezos. Because you know why he stepped down from Amazon as a CEO? Because he wanted to focus on the space race.
Really?
Yep.
Good for him.
Yep.
Good for him. What a great guy.
Yeah. The first building on the moon is going to be an Amazon distribution center.
That's a good one, Steve.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah. Bezos.
It would be funny, huh?
What a guy.
You don't like Bezos, huh?
No, I got nothing wrong with Bezos. I got no problem against him. I just think it's fun. I think
Nobody gave him enough credit, man.
I think it's-
like
I think
you
it's-
guys, you order something in the morning, he gives it to you in the evening.
oh, it's great. It's
And it's
amazing what
like-
he does. It's magic. It's magical.
The thing is, nobody recognized him, but I think he's the greatest inventor. He
I remember-
invented this kind of delivery is amazing, and not just in the U.S., in India too. You can order in the morning and you can get it at night. It's insane.
It's the same thing in India, huh?
Now in India, yeah, you could do that. And then he invented one-click shopping. That's insane. Now you see, did you see Dude Perfect? He went to the space.
Did he really?
Yeah, on Jeff Bezos' rocket. He's doing it commercially. Like Jeff Bezos, like
I was just in Costa Rica a couple weeks ago, and they had Amazon there too.
yeah. These
Amazon
guys,
Prime.
Yeah, these guys just went. I mean, imagine you can just pay like $100,000 or $200,000, and you can actually go to the space. I mean,
Yeah, I love Jeff Bezos's evolution as a human. Ever since that company blew up, he all of a sudden got like jacked.
this is going to be the future. So it's like me taking a plane from Arizona to here. You could just pay, and this is Amazon. Right? He would probably, if you had Amazon Prime, he could put you on space for like a few thousand.
See, this is my problem. How come we're so worried about going to space, but we can't fucking make airplanes any better? We're still using the same airplanes we used in the 60s.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? The same thing. We're using the same airplanes. They just put new seats in them, a new fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
But we're going to go to the moon and we're going to go to Mars.
Yeah. But you know what? All the airlines are losing money.
I saw that because of the Boeing shit, right?
Yeah,
They had to ground a bunch of the Boeing planes.
But there's been no airline company that's made money. nobody invests. I mean, it's so competitive.
Yeah.
They're just fighting with one another. You know how many.
It's such a shady the way they operate too. Like it's used to be so shitty how bad they'd treat you, and how hard it would be to get a refund or like they would just take your money. Yeah. But I think actually one of the good things the Biden administration just did was they actually just implemented some sort of law recently that I saw to where the airline companies actually have to start giving you refunds when you ask for
really?
them. Yeah. Oh. And it's been working too. It just happened to me where I had to cancel a flight like the day of. And they're like, oh, sure, here's your refund. Oh. Give me a full refund.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Never happened to me before.
Wow.
Can you find the headline for that? What Biden...
Really? That's amazing, man.
Biden administration.
We need that in India now.
Yeah, right? It was the Biden administration on airline refunds or something like that. There you go. There you go. April. Biden Harris administration announces final rule requiring automatic refunds of airline tickets and ancillary service fees. There you go.
That's
now they can't run up the freaking tab on you.
Yeah.
Passengers deserve to get their money when an airline owes them without headaches or haggling, said the U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Wow, good job, Petey.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Our new rule sets a new standard to require airlines to promptly provide cash refunds to their passengers. I love that.
Promptly too. That's great. Woo! Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
I love that.
Good.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So when is the next election, man? Who's winning?
Probably Trump.
Really?
I think probably Trump. Yeah, there's no way Biden's going to win. He's definitely going to, I think he might drop out even. I think the fact that they led him into that slaughter, they let him walk into that yesterday or 2 days ago, was very telling. Because why would they do that unless they really, were going to actually let him sink?
Yeah. That's so weird. I mean, I wonder what happened. Like,
my money's on Trump. I think there's no way Trump doesn't win.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see how. Who's going to beat Trump? You think? What do you think?
Why did he lose the last time, though? Like, I believe that Trump is a more effective candidate, if that's what you're asking me, right? I would think that Trump would win. But how did Biden beat him the last time? I didn't understand that.
I don't buy into... I understand there's election fraud, and there's probably election fraud in every election. Mm-hmm. There was the Hunter Biden laptop story that got suppressed on Twitter. Everybody knows about that.
Yep.
And I also think at the same time,
they deleted Trump's account on Twitter.
Oh yeah, they fucked with him hard. But I also think a lot of people didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump by voting for Biden. A lot of people really didn't like Trump.
Why though? Why?
Because they didn't want Trump in office. I think a lot of people just really didn't want Trump anymore. And I think there was a lot of fuckery in the election fraud. There was the laptop story that got suppressed, and there was a lot of other shit. I'm not really an expert on the elections or whatever, but yeah, I believe there was fraud. I don't know what's going on. I don't think...
You think that's not going to happen this time?
I don't think it's possible. I don't know how... Look, if they do it again and somehow Trump doesn't win, it's just like, it's going to be so fucking obvious this is not a real democracy to everybody. I think it's just like, how do you even lie to us anymore after that? Like, you at least just come out and tell us that the votes don't matter anymore, right? And I think it's been on the verge of that for a while. So
you would accept it? Like,
really, who knows?
If Biden wins,
would I accept it? Yeah. I mean, what am I going to do?
That's what I'm saying, right? So you don't have a choice. You'd be like,
I really don't have a choice, right? I really don't. I mean, I don't know really what's going on, but I think if you really ask me if I think do the votes actually matter that much, I wouldn't bet on it. I don't know. I think there's too much going on behind the scenes. There's too much.
We could start a movement. We can just deny that he's actually our president.
Yeah.
It's called Trump is not my president. It's already there, man.
Yeah, I don't see how. I really don't see how. I don't see how he could lose. And if Biden does drop out, I wonder who replaces him.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy because as an outsider, I've never been a U.S. citizen or anything like that. But I always thought that you guys very solid. You guys always gave 2 terms to Republican, 2 terms Democrat. Is almost never screwed with that, right? You never mess with that, right? I think the only time was when somebody resigned. The Watergate stuff. Who was that guy?
Nixon.
Well,
Yeah,
Bush Senior only got 1 term.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some guys only get 1 term. Yeah, some guys get 2 terms.
Okay.
But like it's a weird amnesia thing that we have.
Yeah.
Whenever we have a president, we always think that it needs to go back to the other side. Like when we have a Republican for too long, it's like, oh God damn it, why can't we get back to some reasonable Democratic people in this fucking place and figure this stuff out and get back to normal? And then we get the Democrat in, and then it's the same thing over again. It's like, wow, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Why can't we get back to a Republican president to get shit straight and figure out why, these never-ending wars and all this stuff? And it just seems to, it's just this pendulum that swings, and it never really changes. It's just we forget. You know what I mean? We get 4 years, 8 years in, and we think the grass is going to be greener on the other side, and it never really is. Nothing really ever gets solved.
Changes, right?
Nothing ever permanently changes. It's just this cycle, this loop that never ends. But yeah,
if this
I don't
happens,
know.
this
I don't
is
know
going
who's
to be
going
the
to solve
first
it.
time, man. I think the first time, if Trump really wins, which I doubt he will.
You doubt it?
I don't doubt Trump's efficiency or his popularity. I don't doubt that, but I think they're going to do something that makes him lose, like the last time.
Yeah, well,
I don't think he really lost.
They could kill him. I guess they could whack him, right?
Yeah, I don't think Trump really lost the last time, but they did a lot of little tricks and
Yeah.
like the Twitter played a major part.
Major role. Yeah, that's crazy.
But
they
now
changed, they changed the outcome of an election.
But now Elon owns it, and Trump is back on Twitter, right?
Trump is back on Twitter, although I don't think he's using it.
Okay.
I think he gave him his Twitter back, and he's like, "Fuck you."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got his own Truth Social.
Yeah. How's that going? They tried to do something
I've
with
never
it.
used it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention to it, but I mean, Trump's like so popular, dude. If you watch like UFC matches, like they march him into the UFC. He's like shaking hands with Elon Musk, Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan. Everyone's giving him they give him like a 10-minute standing ovation when he walks in there.
Really?
Oh yeah, he is beloved.
I love Trump too.
He's beloved, man.
Yeah, Trump is very, very. He's a very efficient human being. I think that's a word. Whether he's a businessman or whether he's a politician, he's very efficient. He knows what to do.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. I think the type of democracy we have now needs like a fundamental reset, and I don't think that the way it's going right now, I don't think it's going to end up well. The way that it's set up, right? The way it's legally set up for lobbyists to affect our laws and the way our country works, and it's all based on economics, right? And corruption and greed. And I think there's got to be a better way to do it. I don't know how that's going to happen. You're going to have to it's going to have to be a hard reset, right? To have some sort of version of the democracy that Plato talks about, where you have like a round table of philosophers and just geniuses that can solve the problems, and you got juries of hundreds of people from the town that are to decide what happens to criminals. And I think that was probably the pinnacle of human intellect. And we've just strayed so far from there, man. Now it's just a fucking circus. But I wanted to actually talk about one more thing before we wrap this up.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about the Taj Mahal stuff.
Okay. Sure.
there's some shit going on underneath the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
In your video, you showed like there's some crazy underground layer, or there's some passages that are hidden and they're blocked off. People can't get through. And it seems like, what do you think's going on underneath the Taj Mahal?
There was a book. I think that book is called Badshah Nama. This was written about how Taj Mahal was built. It was an old book, like a few centuries old, and that book was written at the time of Taj Mahal. And they basically say the Taj Mahal was before the Taj Mahal was erected. There was a structure there, right? And they demolished it and they built Taj Mahal on top of it.
Right.
Taj Mahal is in a very nice spot. It's on the river bank of Yamuna. So it's like it makes it so much better. Shah Jahan, he's a Muslim king who built Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
He buys that piece of land on which there was a structure, and then he demolishes that structure and he builds Taj Mahal on top of it. Okay, so that's a river, right?
Right.
Now, underneath, there are several structures, okay? And some of it has been opened now. At that time, this was probably 2016, 17, most of these structures were closed, completely closed off.
Oh,
sealed.
really?
Yep. After this video came out, and of course, it spawned a lot of other videos too, right? Because it becomes very controversial. We're like, okay, what's underneath the Taj Mahal? And then I think the archaeological department has opened some parts of it now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because of your videos.
Some.
Wow, man.
Yeah. So
was it just to keep people safe, or was it just to like, because they didn't want people going down there because it would be too costly to like renovate all that, or what do you think the reason was?
In India, it's all combined together. In India, history, politics, religion, they're all intertwined. Okay, it gets very intensely political because people don't just see this as history. They would combine that with religion. Like I view that Shah Jahan built it on top of a Hindu temple. That's how I think of it. Okay. So Shah Jahan buys a piece of land, and he realizes this is how I would do it, right? So I want to build a great structure, right? So I find a perfect spot for this. And this is on the bank of River Yamuna, but there's already a temple there. So I demolish the temple and I build it on top of the temple.
Right.
Right. But the remnants are still there, and we can find some of the remnants there. If you keep going,
because the base of it's red sandstone, right, and the top of it's all white marble.
There's some discrepancy there. If you go to there you go,
Oh shit! Look at that, man. That's wild.
And if you see that doorway there.
Yep.
Yep.
What is that doorway?
The existing structure there.
Oh, that was what was there before?
Yeah, what was there before? So we there's one guy, I think his name, there are two or three more guys who wrote about this. I took this picture from an old textbook who talks about how they could go into the doorway at a certain point. And then they started to put doors, and they now I think they've completely sealed it off. But I think it should just be common knowledge that this structure was probably built on top of an existing temple or a mansion or a palace, which is basically a Hindu structure. Look at that, just sealed off.
Oh, they bricked it out.
Yep, just sealed off. Right.
So it was originally
this should
a Hindu.
be common. But yeah, look. The thing is, like, if you go there, if I tell you, Danny, this office is built on top of a land which was originally owned by Native Americans, It'd be normal.
I
right?
wouldn't
It's
be
just a
shocked.
fact.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just a fact,
Right.
right? Yeah. So I understand that. So that's the point of me making a video and saying, look, underneath, originally there used to be a Hindu structure,
Yeah.
right? But it's become very controversial because it's also intensely political in India.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
They're still thinking like the history is happening today.
What an amazing structure that is.
Taj
man.
Mahal? Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I made another video saying Taj Mahal employs a lot of optical illusions. There's there's another video about Taj Mahal. If you go to my channel, it's not going to be on this video. Taj Mahal uses a lot of optical illusions and just confuses you, which is what makes you kind of like fall in love with that. Changes color according to
Really?
Yep, changes color. According to the light, according to the time of the day, and the moonlight and all that stuff. Yep. Yeah. That's if you see, maybe that. Yeah, that one. See that? How many corners do you see?
2.
How many? Really? Wow.
Oh wait, on the corners
How many sides?
of that.
1, 2.
How many
3,
facets? Sides?
1,
Right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, keep playing. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, keep playing. 6, right?
Yep.
Oh,
It's flat. Oh my
way.
Lord.
oh, that's cool, man.
So he just, that's the thing. So just, now this is bold by
It's 3, I see.
Shah Jahan, yeah. So it's
Wow.
kind of like, it's going to appear like it has a lot of,
That's amazing.
So we don't give that much credit to, the guy who built it. He actually did an amazing job. And it's, even when you see this, it's very hard for you to understand this, because you still think it still has 6 sides. I use a lot of psychological tricks like this, and that's why Taj Mahal, it's probably, I don't think there's anybody in the world who has not heard of Taj Mahal.
No, I don't think there's anybody who's heard of it. I mean, I bet you there's people who know like the name Taj Mahal, but can't put the picture and can't like tell you where it is.
Yes.
But like, there's like sayings. If you see a fancy house, or whatever, like, God damn, you got the Taj Mahal here.
Yeah.
It's used as an adjective, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's an incredible structure.
Yeah.
And this is what, so there's mirrors in the bathroom,
Yep.
in the ceiling.
Yep.
So when they lit candles, it would look like the cosmos.
These are the little mirrors put on the bathroom of the queen of Shah Jahan, the guy who built it. So when the queen went into the bathroom, Shah Jahan could look at 1,000 images of the queen
Right.
in the bathtub.
1,000 images of her bathing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, there are lots of mysteries in India. I think
And there's a tunnel supposedly under here that links to another.
many. I think
Many tunnels,
yeah,
really?
Yes, many tunnels. I don't know. Yeah, Taj Mahal is a very beautiful monument.
Imagine building that.
You know what they did when India went to war with Pakistan. You know what they did? They had to cover up the Taj Mahal because Pakistan said they would bomb.
Really?
If you,
I gotta find
What did they
this.
cover it with? What did they cover
Taj
it
Mahal covered Pakistan war, something like that. Pakistan.
with? In 1942.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is not the
wow.
Pakistan. I'm sorry. I got. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. It's not the Pakistan. It's probably the war with Germany.
Oh, World
Yeah,
War II.
the World War II. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah. Because India,
They had to cover this up.
what is around it? Is it scaffolding?
Yeah, it just looks like renovation
Yeah,
stuff.
this looks like
No,
renovation.
probably find another
Well,
picture.
that was
found-
the link back there. So it's amid fear of potential air raids, British Army used bamboo to cover the Taj Mahal's dome, attempting to make the onion-shaped design resemble
Something.
Oh, 90 war with Pakistan. Yeah, that one. I think that's
Resembled nothing more than a pile of vegetation. Oh, okay. So that wasn't scaffolding. That was actually bamboo they used to make it look different from the air.
Yeah, I saw another picture, man. That was yeah. Look at no, the next one. I don't know.
Oh, this thing?
Yep.
Oh. Well, that does look more like camo, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. During World War II.
They kind of like.
Let's see what they got.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys. It's just a never ending. I hate it when that happens.
Wild, man.
Yeah, I saw other pictures where they put a lot of like stuff on that, but I can't find it now.
Do they use those? Is it all marble inside the Taj Mahal, or are there multiple different stones? Do they use any of those?
There are
those,
different stones.
They use those floating rocks too, or no?
No.
That's only in temples.
No floating rocks. Yeah,
Okay.
that's only in certain temples.
Okay.
In Taj Mahal, it appears as though it's full of white marble, but it's not.
Okay.
It's very cleverly done, so you only see the white marbles. But inside there are several structures.
Well, what is that?
Underneath.
Foundation fears.
This is underneath it?
Oh my goodness.
So there's a brick structure. What does that say? It says well foundation?
Well, foundation. The Taj is built on gigantic wooden slabs atop a well foundation to stabilize the riverbank sand. Rows of columns and archways keep it from sliding into the river. So, and that's
Amazing.
pointing to this thing right there, the brick section.
And is it a theory or is it real that there's actually tombs under there with the king
Well, of the
or the queen?
Yeah. They say it's still there.
They say it's still there.
Yeah, they've opened it up now. I haven't checked, but they've opened up. There's an underground chamber. When I went there, they said no, nobody's allowed.
Oh, okay.
But now it's become quite controversial, I think. So they had to open it. It's weird because the queen's chamber, yeah, that's the one.
Underground.
Yeah, underground. Yep.
Is it this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
You can see those, and you can see a bunch of people there. That's how you'd see it today. But this is not underground. This is
That's in the
at the
main-
ground level.
Right.
Right.
And they say there's an underground thing. It's a replica.
Oh, really? Oh, this is a replica.
Yeah, this is a replica.
Oh, what's underneath?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is there any place you haven't been that you want to go?
Lots.
Really?
Yep. Lots. I haven't gone. Like, look, man, I mean, here's the problem, right? So we probably got like more than, like, I would say 10,000 temples in India. It's not going to be a lifetime. It's not going to fit into my lifetime. There are lots of temples.
Yeah.
And it's not even in India. Today, you think India is just India, right? Hinduism is just spread in India. But 1,000, 2,000 years ago, Hinduism was spread India, Pakistan on this side, Sri Lanka, all of Southeast Asia. We're talking about Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, all those countries, right? It was like it's full of temples. It's not like I can't fit all those temples into my lifetime, even if I do it every day.
Have you plotted out the ones you can fit in your lifetime that you want to go to?
Not completely.
No.
So because every time, like for example, this time, and you know how much I travel.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you know a little bit, right? Because
Yeah.
you know you booked my ticket from
Yeah, you went from North Carolina to Arizona to California to Florida, back to North Carolina.
right. And now I got to go back to India day after, and then I have to again go for like a government thing, and then on 20th I'm going to Bali, Indonesia.
Oh, really?
Yep. So that's how much I travel. So we keep really busy, but everywhere I go in India, Southeast Asia, the temples are like everywhere. Okay, even like Indonesia is what, 2,500 miles from India. Indonesia is made of 17,000 islands.
Right.
And we keep driving in Indonesia, and you find temples after temples. It's just everywhere. These guys, something is wrong. Something is very odd about the Hindu culture, that they built temples everywhere. Everywhere you see the people in Indonesia, they dig their ground to build a water well or like a foundation for their house, and they keep digging up these lingams. They're everywhere.
The lingams.
Yeah, the lingams and the idols and the statues. They're everywhere. Everywhere you go in Southeast Asia, we find these temples buried. So they're all over the place. So I can't. Yeah, to put it. To put it in a nutshell, I can't see all the temples in my lifetime. They're going to be Plus, we're not going there on a day trip.
How long are you going to be in Bali?
We're going to be there 9 days.
9 days.
20 to the 29th. Yep.
What are you gonna explore?
Temples. We have a list of temples there.
List of temples.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. We have maybe like 4 temples. There are some temples. There are some carvings on a riverbank, and we're going to explore that.
Wow.
Yep. They're like they specifically made these carvings in places which are hard to reach and hard to find. Okay, in Cambodia, you have lingams underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, you seen that?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing though. How many of these temples are submerged now, I wonder?
Yeah. There's an entire. Yeah, there you go. The second. Yeah, underneath. This is all lingams, man. Yeah, I think that's probably.
What is the theory on? What is the idea? What do the lingams mean again?
Well, the reason for the Cambodian lingams, and this is in a remote temple, right? You go to the temple and you see it's just water flowing, but underneath you'll see thousands actually, and this is called Sahasralinga, and they say that when Indians moved to Cambodia, when the Hindus moved to Cambodia, it was jungle, right? So they had to clear the jungle. They made that into a farm, and they tried to cultivate rice. And no matter what they tried, rice was not growing, right? So when they tilled the land, they made sure the water came from the mountains, but the rice was just not growing there. The plants were not growing there. So what they did was they needed a magic spell, right? They needed a magic potion for the crops to grow, for the rice to grow. So they carved the lingams in the mountain all over so the water could flow through the lingams, right? It's just the same water. But when the water flowed through the lingams, they became fertile enough. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. So that was the magic element that.
The lingam was a fertility thing.
Right.
Okay. Wild shit, man. Well, we've just done like 3.5 hours, so you got a flight to catch. We don't want to keep you here forever.
Cool. Yeah.
I appreciate you coming through, brother. And where can people find I'll link it all below, but your YouTube channel is called Praveen Mohan.
Yep. You can go to YouTube, Praveen Mohan. You can go to Facebook. You can go to Instagram. You can just search my name. I'm not on Twitter. I am on Twitter, but I don't use it.
Right.
Okay. I only post. I'm not political. I only post my findings like once or twice a month.
Right. Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, I post it mostly everywhere.
Cool.
But it'll be mostly new findings. It won't be commercial. I won't be posting every day or something like that. But if I find something new, I'll post it.
How often do you post videos on YouTube? Do you have a schedule or
No.
just
no.
whenever?
I didn't post for the last 25 days.
Oh, right.
I only posted yesterday, and somebody in India was posting it.
Okay.
You know this. So yeah, we're trying to do. We try to find new stuff on ancient sites.
Right.
If I
Stuff that
find
hasn't been
anything-
talked about before.
Yeah. I don't want to post. I won't be like, oh, this is interesting. Let me make my own video about this. I won't do that.
Right.
Like if I find anything interesting, I'll do it. You know. So mostly, if you're looking for ancient sites and like good info, you'll find it.
Beautiful, man. Thanks again for your time. And for everybody still watching, we did a Patreon Q&A that we recorded before the podcast. So if you want to check it out, it's linked below. And that's it. Good night, folks.
Good night. Thanks, Danny.